Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Superior Adventurers Guild. My name's Dave, your humble host for another session of this new crazy game that we've gotten ourselves into. I don't know how this happened. I'm a little concerned that I got bamboozled into playing with all these crazy cats. Actually, they're not cats. They're different. They're animals of a different color, a different stripe, maybe. But super duper glad to be here with all of you. And Christian, big shout out to you, sir, for taking the Game Master seat and giving me a chance to play. And I'm glad that we were able to bring in Ethan and the rest of you to play in this game. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Christian, and you can get us into this thing.
Hot potato.
Oh yeah.
It hurts. I guess I was gonna say, as the only one who's not wearing some kind of costume, I guess you can assume I'm the GM, but Miko's not wearing a costume either.
Oh, what?
I don't think you say pants.
What?
That
I'm
not panning the camera down.
Do not judge. Here at Guild Superior, we are acceptant of everything and not judge. So thank you for joining us. We are playing Genlab Alpha. My name is Christian. I'm at the Blake season on the Twitters. I play games here, there, everywhere, hanging out with Dave, cooking up some all sorts of weirdness. The Manimals was just the beginning. So the very premise of this game then is that the players are all playing essentially humanoid animals who, after some sort of disaster, have been mutated and have the ability to walk around and speak and so on and so forth. And they live in a place called Paradise Valley, which is far from being a paradise. It is one of those ironic nicknames, where they are basically under guard by machines, robots, drones that oftentimes kidnap them, take them down into the underground labs to do some terrible things to them. And up until now, most of the animals have just sort of accepted their lot and felt like this is the way things were and there was no way to change it. But things are brewing, things are happening, and it may just be a kind of snowball that takes our players down along with it. And speaking of the players, I would like to begin by introducing a new player we have joining us tonight for the last two sessions of this game. Ethan, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got embroiled in this, and
great to be here. My name's Ethan, and I do the Dungeons and Dragons thing normally, painting miniatures and doing live play, Greyhawk campaign stuff on Twitch at, I think it's Armin DM, or maybe it's just Armin, but you can find me there. And I've played with the Guild Superior crew at least once before on a Viking Death Squad game where we raised a bunch of money, I think, for No Kid Hungry a couple months ago. That was great. And so that's how I'm in Dave's little cabal now. And glad to be here. And looking to have fun. Thanks.
I think actually when you were in that game, I watched that game, and I think I had given you advantage at some point. So
awesome. That sounds familiar. Yeah. I think I remember that.
Remember me fondly. Thank you very much, Ethan. Super happy to have you here coming into these last two games. It's gonna be a good time. I'd like to throw it over to Miko.
Hi there. I am Miko, otherwise known as the okayest GM. You can find me on Twitter at the _okayest_GM. You can find me on D&D Beyond. There, I'm just Miko. I do lots of homebrew type stuff. Not a whole lot of live play stuff, but slowly dipping my toes in here and there. And I am happy to be doing so on the Guild Superior team because it's been a lot of fun.
Glad to have you. Miko's got a lot of really great stuff. I've seen a lot of it on D&D Beyond and so on and so forth. Definitely worth checking out. Thanks for coming by, Miko, playing with us. Travis, he of the purple knitted toque.
Thank you. I'm Travis, also known as Eversalt. You can find me on Twitter as Skane Eversalt, or on my YouTube channel, Eversalt. Mostly do a lot of... I am oftentimes as a player in TTRPGs. I mean, I do have DM'd games for like personal friends and stuff like that, but I usually do a lot of video game playing, a lot of like a mix of commentary and comedy. But I am still in the process of editing and putting out the videos of the co-stream I did with Dave for Extra Life. We did back in January. The second session actually be going out tomorrow noon. So there you have it.
Nice.
And I'll be playing. All right, we're also covering our characters, right? Just making sure.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you want to say.
Okay. I'm also playing as Paige 42, our lovely little moonshiner, nervous turtle type. How do I box turtle? I think is a better way to put it. And he's definitely gone through some traumatic events, between nuclear explosions to first time ever shooting a gun in his hand. So let me tell you, it's that'll change a man.
Don't you have a nice big scar on your turtle shell too now?
Yeah, you got a big old gash on the back end of that one. So love it bit.
I saw you on the internet though yesterday, and you were cleaning it out pretty good.
Yeah, there's a little tweet there. You can use a power washing.
We're just gonna skip back to Miko quickly. You want to tell us about your character?
Yes, I forgot to mention that I am playing the huge bear warrior named Pacino, monstrous in combat and probably not good at very much else.
And Ethan, I'm gonna keep you secret for now because of certain things, and then we'll deal with that. We will then proceed to throw it to our honorable host, Dave, to finalize this thing.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all you guys for being here. This is awesome. It's so fun to be able to pull people together. That's what I like about doing this, is bringing people together for fun times. And as Travis and Ethan had indicated, we like to do good for the community as well. So that's a big part of what we do here. My name's Dave. I play games, run games, and produce games here at Guild Superior. I have an ongoing Greyhawk campaign that's been going on for about 2.5 years. We're getting close to winding it down with some craziness in the Amadio jungle. It takes place in Greyhawk. It's called Beyond Saltmarsh. It's on Wednesday nights from 7 to 10 p.m. CST. Please stop by. And if you're watching and you want to hang out and get involved with getting to know some of the crazy kids in the guild, stop by our Discord and hang out with us. It's a lot of fun. It's a good, safe community, and we invite you all to join us. So tonight, it's a pleasure to meet you, because, yeah, I'm playing the one you all know and you all love, Lloyd 10. The guys like to consider me the rabbit of the group, but I like to think that I'm a hare more than a rabbit. Nothing? Still nothing. That's the third time I've tried that joke on y'all, but it just doesn't land. What the hell? I'm a bit of a seer. I can see things. Sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. When people put psychedelic drugs in my hand, I put them in my body. And then I see other things. So we'll see what happens with that. I actually have a Pez dispenser with 9 tabs of LSD. What could go wrong, right, boys?
I'm not sure Free League really intended, the LSD to make such a.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
go
Free
back.
League.
Here we are.
You sure you want to do that?
Hey, if you create a role-playing game, this is what happens.
People are going to take it and do their own thing. Thank you, Dave. Anything else? Any shout outs you need to give before we get going on this thing?
I don't think so. Oh, if you want, yeah, thank you. If you want to support this channel, you can follow us, subscribe to the channel, just hang out in the chat, get involved. I don't know. If you want to help out and influence the game, we have a mechanism for that called cheering bits. For, I think it's 100 bits, you can give one of the players advantage. So those are a couple different ways to get involved. And I think that's it, unless I'm forgetting something, which is entirely possible. It's been a long day.
We'll catch it up at the break if need be. We'd like to remind the players that you do each have one advantage already in your pocket. So anytime you wish, you can tell me you're using it, and you get 2 extra dice to any roll that you need. Just before we begin, I would like to give a shout out. They're probably never going to hear this, but to Free League, because they make pretty awesome games. We've been playing a lot of them. We're going to play more of them. They're fantastic. Give them a try. Beautiful thing. So thank you very much, Free League, for and the books are just works of art. They're absolutely beautiful. So, all right, everyone ready?
I think so.
Ready as we can be.
Ready as I'll ever be, yeah.
All right. After narrowly escaping a group of slavers known as wardens, the brave animals of this group narrowly escaped being killed by an ancient machine and narrowly survived an explosion that buried them underground. Yes, 3 narrowlies. Things are getting tight. Charged with a mission by a dying bear named Hitch, namely to find a hopefully not dying bear named Truffaut, and to bring him a strange box which Lloyd, the hair seer, discovered he could power. With it, he opened the door to a long buried laboratory where, after dropping acid and discovering the sweet sounds of King Crimson's in the court of the Crimson King, he watched in amazement and in Technicolor as the rugged Pacino, same guy. The rugged old bear warrior held off a murderous machine with his newly acquired sledgehammer, and Paige, the kind, soft-spoken turtle healer, used a fuck you big gun to shoot the thing and shut it down. This is how this game's going, folks. Now realizing that the box was a map to the gun, and still with the mission to find Truffaut, the group emerges from the underground lab, bloody, beaten and scarred, and all out of bubble gum, ready to kick ass. After a short nap, that is. You've made camp down in the valley at the foot of the mountain from which you just emerged. You have only vague directions to find Truffaut. Go east and look for a metal bird that has fallen from the sky. But you have a warm fire, some good hooch from Paige's thermos, and Lloyd has finally stopped tripping balls and is slowly chewing on a bunch of roots. Night has fallen, and the quiet and the dark invite conversation. What do you do?
Wow.
Feeling all right there, Lloyd?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hurting, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It hurts, but, I think I'm gonna be okay. How you doing, fellas?
Just a couple more scars to add to the collection.
They fit you well, gotta say. Looks good.
Yeah. Worried at some point I'm gonna run out of fur.
You doing Lloyd, you say sorry. Man, this is making me a little too soft-spoken.
Come on,
Sometimes
Gary.
you just gotta cough it up a bit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, wait, you said you're not feeling good. Did you get that from the, what is it that you took? It looked like you were really spacing out.
Yeah, well, it's like this, Paige, you know, sometimes you gotta take a voyage. You gotta go somewhere to figure out where you are. And I don't know what that means exactly, but everything that I saw in that last vision, the red blinking light, the damn music, was pretty good actually. And then that cat, now the cat turned out to be a bit more than I thought it was gonna be. But, you know, we're here now.
Was it a cat?
No, I don't know what
No,
that
there
was.
was no cat. That didn't look like a cat if I ever. No, I've never seen a cat before. Have I?
That big furry thing.
You've seen cats. There's the
I
big
know
metal-
I've eaten a few here and there.
That was definitely not a cat. That was metal and teeth and little red lights on its eyes. That wasn't normal. That was definitely not a cat.
Cat or no, it was still just another machine. And we're lucky to have gotten away from it alive. That flashlight that you've got there, you think you're going to be able to keep using it on more machines should we run into them?
Well, one, I think I figured out it's not really a flashlight, but yeah, it should be able to work probably like a dozen more times until I gotta put another block in. I only got one other.
Don't lose it.
thing is I think it only works on this machine. So I don't know if that works on anything else.
Just don't point it at any of us, all right?
No,
Just to be safe.
No. Proper
Just,
safety, and he just kind of props it up against the wall. He just lets it go.
Can you
Just, like,
describe
stay
the
there.
gun to us, Travis, a little bit for people who don't know what it is that you got in your hands?
Okay, I'm trying to visualize in my head. Did you give a description to me before, or
I
was this
just
gonna be up
showed
to
you
me?
a brief picture, but just give us an idea of what a big futuristic EMP gun is.
So it's kind of like, so you have the stock that goes out, kind of like with the rifle, but at that point, once it's past the stock, that's where the similarities start to like end, because you end up with this like somewhat of like a maw kind of look to it, like an alligator maw made of metal, and like there's parts in there that kind of keep it together perfectly within that certain position. The little I'd call them tiny little pillars, and like on the top it looks like little cylinders on top of that as well to kind of like for us we would probably see it as like this is just how it channels like energy down the line, but for us it's like it looks like a whole lot of just kind of like an alligator with just like a whole bunch of cans in a row on the top of its mouth. And out the front, you could see down through, there's like a tube that goes along with it. Of course, don't look down the barrel. With in the back, close to like where the above where the trigger would be, there's kind of like a little display that gives you can kind of track what you're aiming at, and it kind of there's like little boxes and little images that kind of pop up and kind of give you an idea of like, ooh, it sees that, and then it just puts a little red box on that. That's a bad thing, and this is a good thing with a green box, and so it kind of guides you a little bit as like can kind of tell what you want to go after and aid your shot. And when you fire it, there's just a flash and nothing necessarily visible comes out, but you could see that whatever you aimed at it suddenly gets a surge of like energy on it.
Very dangerous weapon.
And just from a mechanics perspective, when he fired that in the vicinity, because Pacino was literally arm wrestling the machine that he shot at it, like there was no weird effects or anything that Pacino felt in the proximity of whatever came out of it that he couldn't see, right?
No, not really. You might have felt things like, maybe things on your body that are made of metal that might have vibrated a little bit or kind of, reacted to it to a certain degree, but you wouldn't have felt heat or anything like that. And even the armor of the mechanical cat that attacked you didn't buckle or anything, and it really just the insides got fried and sort of shut down. So it was pretty kind of like a ghost gun almost,
Right.
Kind of like an EM is kind of like an EM wave, so it ends up like screwing up all the electron flow that's going on in the circuitry and everything. It just like surges through the body and all that. So maybe you felt a little bit of your fur kind of stand up a bit from being near the wave of it.
But it did a number on the thing, so
yep.
Yeah, it's all that matters at the end of the day. Killing the machines.
Well, as Paige like leans the gun up against the tree, I think Pacino still, a little bit wary of guns just in general. He doesn't like when anybody uses a gun in his vicinity because he's well aware that guns are an equalizer, and despite all of his massive strength, somebody wielding a gun can still take him down. So, he gives it a respectful birth, as it were, as he's been like, as all of this has been going on, he's been like rummaging through pack, the various packs of supplies and such that we found, just like doing an inventory so he knows what's what. He digs out a half-used roll of duct tape and then looks over at Paige and just kind of thinks for a moment, and then speaks up saying, how's your scar doing on your back there, bud?
My scar?
The crack.
Oh,
Can't be comfortable. Why don't you, and then just like pull a strip of tape and like tear it off.
Field medic.
Yeah. Why don't you come over here and let me patch you up a little bit just to keep it, stable.
so yeah, and he just, now that he a little bit more aware of it, it kind of you see like it kind of it's kind of like when you don't realize you're standing near a ledge and you have like a fear of heights, and then you realize you're standing near an edge and it's like, oh crap, I almost lost my that's like my shell, that's my home away from anything. And it's just like, oh, and while it's over, I didn't even realize that it happened.
That's okay, bud. I got you. And I'm just gonna like take 2 or 3 pieces of duct tape and lay them across long ways in like an X, and then one bisecting the X pattern, just as like a way of keeping the crack itself from moving too much and causing him any pain or because I know it's not really going to heal anything per se, but it'll help keep it from getting worse, hopefully.
Keep it clean,
Yeah. And as he's like doing this, he's being surprisingly gentle for the giant bear that he is, and just kind of quietly, not trying to purposefully keep Lloyd out of the conversation or anything, but just because it's more of a personal question, he leans over to Paige, like more towards his. Doesn't really have ears, but I guess like where the vicinity of wherever his ears should be. Leans over and says, "How you doing, little man?"
I'm a little shaken up, really. Thank you. I mean, it's not often that I do get taken care of. I know I'm taking care of the rest of you.
Yeah, I know that feeling well. It's always good to have somebody help. But don't take this the wrong way. I don't know many reptiles that make it out here in the wilds that aren't, well, frankly, venomous snakes. You surprised me a little bit.
Oh, part of it kind of. Sometimes I have to stay away from other people because it's just other creatures sometimes are dangerous, but they're not a danger to me so long as I'm, of some worth to them. Bit of moonshine here, couple of salves here for whatever they're dealing with, and just being a contributor. Nobody wants to hurt the doctor, I would hope.
Yeah, but soft-spoken as you are, it's pretty easy, I imagine, for somebody to think they can take advantage of you.
Yeah. That can happen.
Is that what got you into this mess to begin with? Being out from your tribe and all, I mean?
Well, it's kind of hard to, when you deal with that, sometimes it's kind of hard to trust other people with their intentions, because what you're worth to them. And you could be, like some people look at you like if you're the leader of the pack, they want to make sure that they're in your good graces so that they have the advantage. But if I offer something good, that's what they have me for. So it's kind of hard to, when you do get betrayed like that. And it's I'm starting to loop a little bit in my head. Sorry. Help me out here,
Dave.
Look,
As you're listening to them sort of go, you're remembering things that you've seen and in your vision when you first met Paige, and you're kind of sensing that maybe sort of hinging on territories like that are very uncomfortable to him. And you too, Pacino, you have a good sense of things. So you're kind of both feeling that, like, there's something in Paige that's, you're hinging close to territory that he's really not comfortable going into and sort of talking about. And
yeah, fellas. Look, guys. I know you guys are doing a little bonding around the fire and all, but look, we got to talk about the the big giant mechanical elephant in the room, right? What the hell is going on with these things? I mean, I'm wondering, for example, Hitch, your friend, right? Rest in peace, all due respects. God damn, did that just happen recently, didn't it? Sorry, my sense of time is a little off. But they said something. They said something about these things watching us and trying to control us, and I've been thinking a lot about it, fellas, and I don't think we deserve that. I want to know if we're gonna go all the way and figure this out. I'm in, man. I'm in.
Look, Lloyd, I get the problem, and I know you want to move on it, but we got to take a moment. We got to breathe. Everything the past couple of days has hurt a lot, and we got to do something about that first.
I guess
we'll figure out the machines. We'll figure something out with it. We know that the cube that you picked up that has worked for you, we know that's got to go to the guy up the mountain. What was his name? What did Hitch say?
Yeah.
Are you waiting for me to whisper it? Or?
Yeah,
I was waiting for one of them to whisper it.
Okay.
Where we were going or name we're looking for?
The guy that we were looking for.
Truffaut.
Truffaut.
Yeah.
Truffaut. I wrote down Truffaut, sorry.
Yeah, it's Truffaut, like the filmmaker.
So whichever one of you says Truffaut. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. We'll get the cube to that guy and then we'll figure things out from there, but take it down a notch, Mr. Hare. Because
Yeah, you're right. I'm the kind of guy that kind of likes to just keep things moving and not deal with all the shit. There's a lot of shit, like you said. I just as soon ignore it, but we can't. I understand that.
I can appreciate that. I like to know things as well, but I don't know. I move slower than other people.
Understood.
I try to take things slow and deliberate. And this feels like one of those things that if we move too fast, we're not going to see something coming that we need to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you and Paige think we're safe here, then that's fine. Maybe I'll just trip on it and we'll figure out what's next.
And as you say that, you hear a voice from the darkness that says, "Safe? Ain't nowhere safe around here, sugar."
I immediately just stand up and hold the hammer down at the ready in the direction of the voice.
So it's
Paige just dives into the snow.
what you heard was a female voice, and as you're moving and sort of getting set up, the voice comes back and I didn't have to tell you I was here, but I did, and I'm doing it in the hopes that maybe you'll allow me and my friend here to come nearer and show ourselves and show you our empty paws. I heard you mention the name Truffaut, and well, Truffaut's a friend of mine. So I was wondering if perhaps we might not come by your fire. It's mighty cold out here, and we could maybe talk a little bit about what you might know about Truffaut, because Cassette's a friend of ours, and he's been missing for a little while. It'd be okay if my friend Rocky and I here approached you guys, sort of. quiet and
look
slow.
around and see if I, just because it's still on my mind with the fresh scars, I'm going to look around and see if I see any signs of machines, twinkling lights in the sky or anything like that.
No, you don't spot anything that sets you on edge.
I'm gonna
You're
slip
pretty
on
sure
my-
that there's someone sort of out in the bushes a little bit further, but then there seems to be someone maybe up in a tree also.
I'm gonna slip my brass knucks on and kind of hide a little bit behind Pacino.
If I don't see any signs of the machines, that's going to relax me a fairly substantial amount. So I'll just like flip the hammer up so that I can use it as like an armrest, and just move over and plop myself down on whatever rock I've been sitting on, and just in the direction of the voices, because I imagine I just see shapes. I will say, "Fire's warm. Well, anyone's welcome that means well enough."
I believe we mean well enough. Feel like getting warm there, Rocky?
Indeed.
So I'll tell you what she looks like as she approaches, and then Ethan, you can tell us what Rocky looks like. So as she approaches, you see a fox, and Dave, you have a quick flashback to one of your recent
Literal.
one of your recent
Yeah.
visions while you were tripping balls. As this fox comes out with the red fur. She's got like this sort of military style anorak. She's got a quiver on her back with a compound bow stashed up there. She's got a little hat on and like a nice hair with the flaps that come down. Her ears are poking out. She got some ski goggles on top of that. And she just sort of comes out with her paws up like this, showing you that there's sort of nothing in them. And at some point she'll sort of look up over her shoulder, and you'll see
You'll
Rocky.
see a chimpanzee who kind of slowly and methodically climbs down out of the tree behind her. And he's this chimpanzee has kind of a padded military winter jacket on, and he's got a field med pack strapped over his shoulder, and he's got a pork pie hat on and a pair of old dented glasses, scarves around his neck. Looks kind of cold. He's wearing some weird stuff on his shoulders, and he's kind of pretty lean for a chimpanzee. Actually, looks like he's seen some not hard times, but he's spent some time out there in the forest. He's got kind of reddish, russet-colored fur and kind of tan for a chimpanzee. But he stands, comes down out of the tree, said methodically, and walks up behind his companion and just says, "How you do?"
you guys want to go around the table and give Ethan a little description of what you are, and at the same time it'll give the audience a bit of a clue. It's been a couple games. Pacino, if you want, as you're probably the one that's
Sure. Yeah, so Pacino is, as described previously, a huge bear. He's an elder bear, so there's quite a bit of gray in his muzzle and in other various spots in his fur. He has lots of various scars from battles that he has both lost and won. The fact that he has lived to elder status, or to elder age, I should say, and has not made it to very much quote unquote elder status in a tribe means something. And currently he is wearing basically thick jeans, a lumberjack shirt, and then over top of that is a very, very large, heavy biker jacket that says Sturgis on the back of it, and has a like very, very badly done patch of like a tiger or something on it. And yeah, there we go. Nice. And his the most prominent thing that you can see about him, other than just his sheer size, is the large dual sledge / pick that is probably the size of Lloyd, that he kind of just leans on, uses more or less as a cane in this particular circumstance. But despite his size, he doesn't have an outwardly menacing look about him, unless he seemingly wants to. You could definitely tell he has some intimidation about him, but it's more of a intimidating presence than a purposeful "I'm going to eat you" kind of thing.
Dave, staring slack-jawed.
Yeah, you see kind of poking out from behind this bear a rabbit, a hare, long white ears, white fur, crazy-eyed, kind of, each eye kind of doing its own thing. He's got a really worn and aromatic, shall we say, Hawaiian shirt on. And on top of that, you can just see kind of like the collar poking out, because over the Hawaiian shirt, he's got this sort of like a jersey style shirt of gold and green and kind of gold. It's a North Stars jersey. And then over the top of that, he's kind of got himself bundled up with this white and pink varsity jacket that he pulls tight and has its, the snaps on the front to keep himself warm. And he's just kind of looking at you, sort of dumbfounded, and he keeps looking back from you to the fox, back to you, and he's sort of flexing his fingers, and you look down, he's got this sort of like brass knuckle sort of device on his hand that he's just sort of like fondling a little bit, like kind of rubbing it almost like he's polishing it, like getting ready, but he doesn't know what to do. And he's very fidgety.
And finally, sitting around that fire, with currently a roll of duct tape sort of just hanging off the back of his shell, is someone that Rocky, you'll recognize here in a moment. Travis, if you would give us a description.
Okay, so actually he had dove into the snow, but you'll see the back, like the top of the shell itself with the duct tape still like hanging off of it. But he like picks up out of the snow, brushes off, and you see that he has like this green leathery skin. Is basically species wise is a box turtle. And he has scales around his joints with like on his face is somewhat shaped a little bit, kind of like the floor of a boat. It's a bit like kind of angled out like that. Very bulky build, and under what seems to be, looks like a uniform style, like outdoors jacket that he got from earlier, under his like tattered shorts and a shirt with suspenders, along with like thermos hanging off on the side. It's a little weird looking for a thermos, because it seems like it has a lot going on there. And very like very cautious and uncertain, but then like as he's looking at both the fox and then the chimpanzee, right? He recognizes Rocky, and his face goes from like, his expressions go from like, just like cautious, disengaged and concerned, to like intrigued. And for a moment there, he just kind of says very, very quietly, "Rocky?"
I remember you. We spent that night fixing up that lizard.
Oh,
isn't that true?
It's been some time since we've sat around, had a drink together. How's Elvis doing?
Indeed. Well, I don't know. I haven't heard how he's fared after we patched him up, but I suspect he's doing all right.
Oh, he did go blind. I mean, I'm sure that would have been really hard for him.
He'll make it with his tribe.
Yeah, he does have that.
Thoughts.
But yeah, I only hung out for a little while, but it felt good to be part of something. And you see that we've gotten into a few things. But I'm glad to see you again. It's kind of
It's good. It's good to see you, Paige. When you left, I assumed you were taking care of yourself, that you were going to make it, and it looks like now you found. Chimp kind of looks at, still standing somewhat behind the fox. Still looks at the your two companions there, and says, "Looks like you've found some friends to help you on your way."
Not just any friend. I do believe that's the one they call Scar. Am I right?
That's what they call me.
Wow. Everyone's heard of Scar.
Wait, Paige, you know this guy?
Yeah. Well, you remember I traveled a lot, and I do help people wherever I go. And well, they needed a disinfectant specifically because one of theirs in the tribe, they needed surgery. It's kind of hard to come by. I mean, moonshine works really well, I'll tell you what, but a lot of different uses. But yeah, I was happy to help with that.
And speaking of moonshine, you got a little bit of that to spare? Could use a little warm up.
Yeah, I do. Well, I mean, if I have more time, I can make sure that there's enough for everybody.
Got all the time in the world. If you don't mind, I'm gonna grab this seat right here, and she sits down near Lloyd and gives you a little smile, Lloyd, and the light from the fire reflects on the little nose ring that she's got on the tip of her nose there, and it's sets off a couple of sparkles, after effects from your earlier trip.
What the
And she goes, "My
hell is
name,
going
since everyone seems to know everybody, my name's Savitskaya, but you can call me Savvy. Come on in, Rocky. Have a seat with us here."
Yeah, and Rocky will come in and sit down next to you, Savvy. It was kind of, you folks, I'm sure, could tell that Rocky was kind of deferring a bit to Savvy's a bit, her kind of authority.
Well, I'm glad
So
that
my position and whatnot.
I'm glad that some of you know each other. It makes all this hanging out by the fire so much more interesting when we know we're amongst friends.
Where'd y'all's come from then? Did you hear the huge explosion?
Yes, yesterday, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if all of
It reverberated out throughout the valley here. We seem to be a little bit out of our way, and what with the machines and all always out there causing a ruckus, it felt like perhaps it was best not to go and investigate such things. Were you present when this happened? Do you know what happened?
Well, present, I mean, it's a, subjective term. It's relative. Have we met before? You say your name's Savvy and you're Rocky. Rocky knows Paige. Paige knows Rocky. Rocky knows Savvy. Everybody knows Pacino. I don't feel like I know what's going on here.
Well, perhaps it's just because your history of the heroics is yet to be written, Mr. Hare.
Kind of like that, yes. That's it's got a nice ring to it. Heroic. You hear that, Pacino? Wow.
Yeah, I'll remember that next time you're leaping into the trees away from the machine that's about to explode in my face.
Yeah, I think that was the right decision basically I'm still here.
Nobody ever told me exactly what happened out there when I went down to get dynamite. It just all fell down.
Yeah, we kind of did fall down on top of you, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was you, that explosion?
No, it was the machine that I was trying to tear in half. It was weird. It seemed kind of broken. It shambled through the snow and trees a bit. I don't know, its purpose was weird. It wasn't focused on us as much as it was focused on the place. And then once it got close enough, everything just kind of went white, loud, and dark.
Well, we call them relics. They're old machines that even the other machines don't necessarily want to associate with, but they use them on what you might call suicide missions when they really need to make sure that some fortified area that some animals have locked themselves up in goes down. They get one of those out of the ground somewhere, and then they set it on its own self-destructive course to explode and take down everything with it. I'd say you'd be pretty lucky to have escaped that alive if that's indeed what you felt, what you faced.
You mean the other machines set them on the path?
That's right.
You seem to know quite a lot about how the machines work.
Well, I spent some time studying them, looking for patterns, looking for purposes to them. There has to be a purpose, right? They can't just be there to make our lives miserable, as much as I'm sure they might enjoy it if they weren't machines. But let me ask you this. I heard you say you're looking for Truffaut. Truffaut's a good friend of mine. Might I inquire as to why it is you're looking for him?
One of the people that didn't make it out of the explosion. They gave us something that belongs to him. And as they were dying, well, I made a promise that I would get it back to him. So that's what I'm doing. Thankfully, I've got these two friends to help keep me safe along the way.
And who was this animal that gave you this quest?
She was a bear named Hitch.
Do you want to go ahead, Miko, and give me, actually all of you can, including you, Ethan, if you want. Go ahead and give me a sense emotion. So roll your instinct plus your sense emotion. So that's number of yellow dice equal to your instinct and number of green dice equal to your sense emotion. And give that a roll. And
One success.
Goose egg.
Dos.
2 success.
all right, so the three of you get the feeling that she reacts when you say Hitch. You get the feeling that she probably knew Hitch personally, and she's taken this kind of hard. She kind of tries to stomp it down a little bit to not show too much emotion, but she misses a beat, and then she's like, "So Hitch and the others, they're all dead then."
I kind of just pat the hammer a little bit and say, just because somebody's not breathing doesn't mean they don't still have impact.
Is that how you got that scar, Mr. Page?
Oh, no.
Oh,
I got my scars from other ways.
Sorry, I said she said Mr.
Oh.
Page. Sorry. She was looking at Page. I said, "Is that how you got that scar in your back? Because you still have that piece of duct tape kind of flapping in the wind over there." Sorry.
I will reach over and pat it flat and make sure it sticks.
He just looks up at you. Thanks.
Yeah, you got that scar.
It's I was down in the lower parts, the bunker, and when everything went off, the whole building collapsed. I got buried. No, almost nobody, just us, survived it.
Not just us. There was some that made it out. They left before the machine showed up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Who was
What
that?
if they
What was
got
that? A
caught?
hare's name? Zidane.
Zidane? Yeah. Zidane.
Zidane.
But what if he got caught in the explosion? He was out there without any protection.
Zidane was long gone before that machine showed up.
hope he's okay. I know he's a jerk sometimes.
We sort of suspected there might be someone telling tales out of school there, but I don't know. Is it Dane? He's usually pretty hard up on getting the machines down.
Well, let's just say if I ever see that rabbit again, I'm going to have some questions for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of questions.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what is this thing that Hitch gave you to bring to Truffaut? Is it a little black box about yay big? Doesn't really do much, kind of a paperweight?
Rings a bell, maybe? I don't know. You mean this?
Yes, it's that.
He'll hold it up.
And
Like
as-
you were almost about to do like before you do that, like Paige was about to like give you a nudge, like show it to her. You just pull it out. And it's like, oh, never
as
mind.
Paige brings up the box, Rocky, you can see this black cube, and as he holds it up, it starts to levitate a little bit over his hand. It starts to turn very slowly, and there are lights that start sort of moving through it, and sort of like lighting up the place. And you can see inside he's like, really like, what the hell? And there's like this light that shows up, and this sort of holographic map appears on top of it. And you guys, you notice there's no more little blinking red light on the map. So how did you do that? How did you do that? We spent months trying to make that thing work.
I mean, sometimes things just happen. It just kind of works. Pretty cool, huh? Look at this. What do you think it means?
Lloyd sees stuff. Maybe he's helping us see things. I'm starting to be a little concerned about that.
Well, no, Truffaut thought that this was important. It was he kept talking about the fact that this might be a way to access some sort of secret, something that would give us an edge in the fight against the machines. We never could figure out what it was. That's what Hitch was out there trying to do, trying to figure out if there was any way to make that box help us. Where we found it in that bunker that you say was destroyed, where you met Hitch, and so her job was to try and figure out what it all meant. Well, we never did make it work. Truffaut was certain, though, that it was the answer to our prayers, what we've been looking for, to the key to allow us to defeat the machines. I don't know how this light show helps us, though, but...
Well,
See that, Lloyd? You are useful.
I mean, well, thanks, Pacino. I appreciate that. I think the moral of the story here, folks, and lady, and new friends, and everybody else, is that we got to take this to Truffaut, and then he's gonna tells us what to do with it, right?
That's the problem. Truffaut's missing now for several days. Rocky and I were out here looking for him.
Yep.
Well, nothing's ever meant to be easy, I guess. Good thing we've got a seer with us. And I just stare at Lloyd.
Yeah. Oh, you talking to me? I could trip on it, and we'll see what happens.
It's
Why don't
like,
you start
here.
with a drink? And I just kind of glance over at Paige and then like lean my head in the direction of Lloyd, being like, please give this man a drink. You seem like you need a little bit of edge off first.
Looks at
Rocky's
him,
looking
just
concerned
mouths
too.
like,
King on it.
Sorry, Rocky, what were you saying?
Rocky's looking concerned too. Just who is this rabbit? I mean, I'm
I
an
don't know.
accepting guy, but
Savvy leans over and she's like, we had several seers that tried to play with that box and nothing happened. I don't know.
how this guy did it?
I'm just a talented fella. What can I say?
See, and speaking of Truffaut, then, is there anything perhaps you might be able to see? What's
I
becoming?
mean, I can see all
We
kinds
should
of
rest.
things.
We should rest before we
Mm.
go down that path. And like, Pacino is definitely showing like signs of weariness from all of the fights and everything. And he just kind of fixates going back and forth between the fox and the chimpanzee, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Going back and forth between looking at both of them, sizing them up just to make sure. And then he kind of just pops the one of the muscles in his neck that's been like super tense and fighting him, and lets out a big heavy sigh. We need to save this for morning, I think.
Well, y'all look a little bit like a few miles of rough road, so if you trust us, maybe you can all get some rest, and Rocky and I will take turns watching over you while you do, and in the morning rest this with the light of day.
I appreciate that, but I don't care how badly hurt I am. I'm still going to take a turn keeping watch over my friends. But more than welcome the assistance from you too.
All right. So you'll after eating some food, you will all sort of bed down, take turns bedding down for the night. You'll organize to make sure there's always someone sort of awake to keep an eye out. If you eat some food and get some rest, you can erase all the trauma that you've acquired so far. You get back.
Can Rocky administer healing to anyone? Does anyone need that?
So the way
scans
healing
the group
works, Ethan, is you don't heal wounds. You can only heal someone who's broken.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. So healing
That's
is just by eating food and drinking water.
Yeah, that's right.
So
you can heal critical hits. You
yeah,
can
if you
roll
get-
for healing critical hits and reduce the duration of critical hits.
Yeah. So
And there's
I know you had
group potions.
10. You had a number of rations.
Hmm.
We talked about. So you had 10, and I said I would augment. So we'll see. You have 20 rations. So if anyone kind of wants to sort of keep track of them, you need to spend one per day just to keep going. So you have 20 rations of food and 20 rations of water. I'll assume you'll share some with Rocky and Savitskaya. So if you want to mark off 5 of each for now, and then you need a ration of food for every point of strength that you want to regain.
That's 3 for me.
2 here, so that's 5. How about you, Paige?
1.
1. All right, so we're down
1
to
damage.
9 rations. 9 food
And
rations.
Wits is just healed by sleeping, and if you have instinct damage, which I don't think anyone does, you have to act like an animal for a little bit to sort of regain your instinct.
So it's like before all that, like while we're having the meal and everything, and Paige finally is done with the brewing process. It's taken a long time. It's just, yeah, sorry. I if I had more time, it would taste a little bit better. I could have filtered it, but and then he's taking like a bit of a vessel and each of giving like a kind of like 2 shots worth in each cup that everybody holds out, just so that we can all get a good taste of it.
Hey, Rocky, you have any of those juniper berries you were carrying with you earlier?
Yeah, I do. I was thinking about taking a moment to brew up some potions myself to see if we could stash some supplies, I guess, for what happens next.
All right. Well, so there's a little nearby. You'll find a little bit of a brook where you can get enough water. It's just like through the snow, and it's not frozen. And through the snow, you can get just enough water, and then you can sort of go to bed, and then early on, wake up early and brew yourself a batch. Same with you there, Travis. If you want to brew a batch of potions, you can do that in the morning when it's your turn to sort of stand guard.
Could boil some water with the thermos.
With the fire, you're good. No hypothermia. You will wake up in the morning feeling much better, rested, having eaten and drank, gotten some rest. And so when you're sort of chowing on some breakfast, so Sky will be like, so how about we sort of unite our purposes here and walk together looking for Truffaut. I mean, security in numbers and all that.
I don't have any problem with it.
I'm kind of talking. I want to not take Paige aside, but just say I know that trust is hard to come by these days. But you and I have spent some time together, and I'm the same person I was, and I believe I can trust you. So I hope you can trust me. And I kind of lean in and say, and Savi here is the real deal. I think, yeah, you should put your trust in her as well.
And as you're finishing up eating and all that, did you want to? Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't want to cut you off there, Travis. Go ahead if you want to respond.
Oh, I wanted to make sure that was directed at me, or was that directed to us in general?
I was just going.
It was to you. Oh, well, I was talking to you, Travis Page, because you and I have a history together. So.
Okay.
That's all.
Well, I mean, yeah, coming from you, I take that with some considerable confidence. So if you trust Savvy, then I'll trust Savvy.
Good.
And so as you're finishing your breakfast, Savitskaya will come and sit next to you, Lloyd, and she'll say, "So, Mr. Sia, have any interesting dreams or vision you'd like to share, or perhaps new ones you'd like to look into, perhaps to give us a bit of an idea which direction we should be going?"
Yeah, I still feel like there's something about you. You're very persuasive. Let me just see what I can see. And he
If you would, I'd appreciate that very much.
Lloyd kind of walks a little bit away from the group and kind of scrapes out a little spot with his big rabbit feet in the snow, plops down in a cross-legged position.
I have a question, actually. Mechanically speaking, I know that I'm not a seer or anything, but is there any kind of role to this that potentially I could assist with, like help with, like even just trying to sit next to Lloyd and provide him comfort and care, knowing that he's going to be safe while he's doing his trip?
Absolutely. So in a case like this, if you wanted to help him, I would say that you basically, help him prepare and do stuff like, clear out the area for him, make sure he's comfortable, bring the little fire nearby or something so that he's warm. Like that's how you would help him, make sure that his mind is not occupied by menial tasks that need to be done or stuff like that. So if two of you say you want to help, then you'll find ways to do it. And once David's done preparing and he tells us that he does his thing, you'll get his 2 extra dice for that. So yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, so I think Pacino, as Lloyd starts to walk away and do it on his own, Pacino just kind of trundles up next to him, just kind of leans over and puts a big arm, he can't even place his arm. He puts a hand on Lloyd's back, which takes up 90% of Lloyd's back. And he just says, "You don't have to do this alone anymore, right?
Oh, yes?
We'll help keep you safe." And he just kind of leads Lloyd over to a spot and just big arm brushes some snow out to the side and looks over at looks over at Paige and says, "Hey Paige, bring some of the kindling from the fire," and grabs a log and just breaks the log into 2 chunks and sets it down in front of Lloyd.
All right, Lloyd, give us the scene.
So all of this takes place, and Lloyd, thanks, big fella. Why don't you sit down right here? This will be good. You sit here. Paige, right here, sit down, guys. This is wonderful to have all your supports, and yo Rocky and Savvy, you guys want to come and join us. Sit around, come on, bring it in here. Bring it in. And as the fire starts, this log this punky log starts to smolder, and it's sort of kicking out a bunch of smoke. He kind of just cleanses himself with the smoke, and he kind of gestures to you to do something similar and sort of wash your body with the smoke as he pulls out this plastic Pez dispenser and he pops 5 of these little tabs, and he hands one to each of you. I know yous want to help me out with this vision, and this is probably the best way y'alls are gonna be able to help me. This is the big deal, fellas. We gotta go deep. We gotta go deep. Paige, are you okay with this? You okay with this?
Yeah. No.
Don't worry about it. Here, just put this in your mouth.
Okay. I'm a little worried, but I think I trust you, Lloyd. I'm a little worried.
It's going to be
Rocky's gonna
fine.
look at Savvy, just question, like, is this copacetic?
Here,
I mean-
Pacino.
How bad could it be, right?
It's going to be fine.
So Pacino saw what this did to Lloyd when he started like rolling around on the carpet in the room where the music was playing, and so he's going to fake like he takes it, but he's going to palm the tab and just like put it into a shirt pocket after Lloyd starts popping his.
All right. Okay. So, what's about to happen? Pacino's going to see none of this, but the rest of you drop your little tabs, and I apologize to all the mothers out there.
Don't do drugs, kids.
No,
Adults make your own choices.
Adult responsibly, please.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So you're sitting there, and you put these tabs in your mouths, and you wash yourself with the smoke, and you're all sort of sitting there, and nothing seems to be happening. And
Maybe we should take some more.
the wind is blowing in very nicely, and it's kind of warm, and you're wondering, maybe you should take some more. Like, there's obviously nothing sort of happening. Over you, the tree, this massive sort of apple tree that's over you with the big green leaves sort of swaying in the sun. Beneath you, the grass. Wait a minute, grass, isn't it winter? But there's nice, long, warm grass that's growing around you, and it's growing, and you're like, it's growing much like, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like this grass growing. There's this giant dandelion that's kind of leaning in over you, and then there's this little breath of wind that kind of makes it explode, and all the white fluffiness of it sort of drifts down over you. Pacino's sitting there, you're watching these guys just sort of completely going bonkers and tripping balls.
I love you, guys. I love you.
And
as they are tripping, as they are tripping, I think Pacino just kind of gently like scooches himself back away from the group.
Oh no, you don't, big boy. And Lloyd gets over and just kind of nuzzles into all his fur. That feels so good. You guys, check this out. He's just running his hands.
As you're nuzzling him, you realize that it's this giant bumblebee that you're on top of, and the bumblebee is flying through the sky. And you look around, and your friends are flying around you, and a couple of them are hanging on to these pieces of this dandelion that's floating through the wind, and you're on this bumblebee, and it's totally crazy. And then you're flying around this valley, and you can see the entirety of Paradise Valley beneath you, and there are no fences, and there are no machine checkpoints, and there are no drones in the sky, and all you see below you are these beautiful little villages and homes filled with animals. Everyone's getting together, having picnics outside, eating at long tables, drinking. They see you and they wave their mugs, and they lift their mugs at you and they wave. There's music coming in as you turn on. Paige is sitting next to you on this bumblebee, and he's looking at you, and he's got a turntable, the turntable that you saw right in the office yesterday. And there's this huge, speaker that sort of sticks out of like those old timey ones, right? And he's looking at you, and he's looking so intently, and the Beatles are playing, right? Sergeant Pepper is sort of coming. I have no clue what it is, but it's amazing, right?
So good.
And he's just sort of looking at you like he's found this thing, and he's kind of caressing it, and it's great. And you look over on the other side, and there's Savitskaya, and she looks at you with this hair-eating grin that she's got, and it's making you feel real uncomfortable because the other guys are in. You're like, oh my god, what's going on? And she picks out her bow from behind her, right? And you remember in your first vision, she had this bow with these arrows with the hearts on it, but now it's a harp, and she starts playing it, right? She's playing this harp, and then suddenly you're flying high over this valley, and below you, you see all these animals sort of rushing and moving, and you see this giant berry in front of them, and there's explosions and there's fire everywhere. There's these giant machines that are coming at them and are tearing into them, and the animals are just dying and being blown to bits as these machines are tearing through them. But you're looking at them, and now they're all kind of like freaking
Just
out and
crying.
like, and you see Paige is crawling on the ground looking for his gun, like he's crawling towards it, kind of trying to get to his gun.
I'm just trying to step back and keep everyone in the same local vicinity, make sure nobody steps in the fire, make sure nobody yeah, I'm just gently and I'm not even like picking them up or anything. I'm just like gently guiding them safely. I'm definitely keeping weapons out of people's hands and things like that. I'm acting as like almost like a den mother, just hovering around them, keeping all of the everybody that's tripping balls safe.
And there was always that guy in university who did that. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the one sober guy in the bunch, and as you're looking at all these
was that guy
happening, you turn around and now you see Paige, and instead of holding an old timey vinyl player, he's looking at you, and he's got this lantern, and there's flames and gasoline sort of dripping out of him. He's got this horrified look on his face, and as he like starts to panic, he drops it, and it drops on the bumblebee, and fire spreads everywhere. The bumblebee's fur catches on fire, its wings catch on fire. You're crashing to the ground. You're gonna hit the ground. As you hit it, it explodes as all this water that's there, and it's this multicolored water sort of shoots up into the sky, these huge droplets, and you're caught in these droplets, and you're flying up over this battlefield, and you can see these craters everywhere and all these dead animals and these machines sort of lording over them, picking up the body parts and putting them into bags to get like these long claws, like to pick up leaves, right? And they got these huge bags. They're just putting all these dead animals in there. And then as you're climbing up into the sky in these big multicolored bubbles, Dave, you see below you there's a bridge, and on that bridge you see someone looking at you, looking straight at you. They can see you. There's a moose, this giant moose that's there with his beautiful woods, and he's got like all these different feathers and little things hanging, little knickknacks, little stones and little strings hanging from his big crown, and he's looking at you, and he points at you, and as you see him, he starts to sort of signal you to come down and see him. And as you approach, you see looming behind him this giant cave mouth, and you hear sounds coming from it and weird noises, and you can't make out what they are. And when you turn around, these other guys that all dropped acid with you are all just floating around you, and they're looking at you. And you look at the moose, and the moose is on the ground. He's kind of caught in a net, and he's kind of trying to fight to get out of this net that he's got. And you see two machines coming onto him, and there's this long bridge, this long stone bridge, and these machines are about to crawl over, but you want to go and help him, but the other guys are kind of like around you, and they're looking at you, and they look like they need your help. They look like they're reaching out for you. And suddenly that bubble that you're in of water bursts, and you drop. And as you drop, you wake up, and you're lying on the ground, and all four of you that dropped acid are lying around the little fire where you were, all on your back, all lying down, and you can see that you've rolled and went all over. The snow is removed everywhere, and like there's gear everywhere. Pacino's just kind of running around like as he just keeps moving stuff and bringing you back. And Dave, all you can see is that moose just sort of staring at you and like caught in that thing. Travis, I'm gonna be ultra mean to you and tell you that you have an instinct trauma because of what's happened in there, as you start having doubt about yourself and your abilities, and as a healer and all that, because of what you've this trauma that's kind of been brought back. So I'm going to give you that trauma right now. And when you come back, the sun is like coming down. You guys have been out for like several hours. The sun is already its way down.
Fellas, I think we took too much. Did you see the moose? I'm not the only one who saw that. Paige, are you okay? Paige, buddy. Hey, buddy.
He's like, his eyes are like welling up. He's like,
hey, man.
What?
I'm gonna go up and give him a little bit of a hug. It's okay. Hey, Paige.
As Lloyd is consoling Paige, he just keeps like a hand on Paige's shoulder, and he's paying careful attention to Rocky and Zavi, and trying to make sure like he's not going to physically intervene on the two of them, but he's just looking them over, making sure that they're okay.
Everyone's physically all right. They're just a little parched, so everyone's like kind of going for the water. And
yeah, Rocky's never done that before, so he's looking pretty strung out a bit, and yeah, worried about Paige. But pretty strung out.
Paige, buddy.
You just like, before he like gets a little bit more lucid, you just hear him kind of whisper him, "Sorry, Plant."
Hey.
Wait, you still make me do that again?
I'm sorry, pal. I didn't know what was gonna happen there.
I didn't know either.
Look,
be okay.
It wasn't real. It was just a vision of something that could happen, or maybe it won't happen. That doesn't always come true. Paige, I'm so sorry.
Well, you didn't know. You didn't know. It's okay. I need a minute. I need to take a walk.
Yeah. Lloyd's just gonna watch him walk away.
While Paige is walking away, Rocky's asked Zavi, "Do you recognize that cave mouth?" You know, and also kind of like speaking to you, I guess, too, Lloyd, because you know you were there, so to speak. Does Zavi have any recollection of a cave mouth like that?
I'd heard Truffaut before talk about the cave that speaks, but it was a place that no one was allowed to go near. And that moose, I know who that moose is. That's Coleridge. He's a seer like you, Lloyd.
Why is the cave that speaks, why is it forbidden?
It's a way into the underground where the machines come from, the labyrinth.
So Lloyd, I mean, Rocky kind of visibly shakes at that, just kind of.
As Savi's saying this, Lloyd, you're getting flashbacks now, and you're seeing, as you know, your vision's kind of switching back and forth between the presidents or what you're seeing and something else. You see this room, and there's these giant computer banks everywhere and these giant screens, and there's like the outline of a woman's face on these screens, but it's not an animal. You don't recognize it. You remember being in the other laboratory the day before and seeing pictures on the walls and on desks and stuff of people that look kind of like animals but didn't have fur and didn't have fangs and didn't have any of that. If you remember, we talked about that a little bit. And this woman's face is sort of like this on these computer monitors, and arrayed beneath her are all these spikes with animal heads on it. And it really shakes you to the core, and you kind of understand that all this is sort of happening because of whoever that face is on that mirror, and you're having trouble shaking it. I'm going to I'm not going to give you anything about it, but like you're pretty shaken up. Like the image of the war and the image of this woman you feel are completely, are totally related one to another. Like one connects to you, I have no clue how, but so as she's talking about the cave and the labyrinth and all that, those are the images that you're sort of getting in your head.
So it's kind of like an after effect of my vision sort of thing. Yeah. Like, okay.
These guys don't get them because they're not used enough to it, so it's either knocks them out, but like you're starting to, and you've taken so much of it that there's always a little bit kind of going through your system. So
Sure.
you're getting these after sort of images, and that's sort of coming to you as you see that, as she mentions the labyrinth.
Say, Avi, where is this cave that speaks? I mean, are we close to it now? Is it far away?
It's not very far. If we left now and did some good time, we might be able to reach it before night falls. But I'd like to check in on Coleridge, if that's okay. He's on the way.
Yeah. That didn't look good with the whole net on him and the whole thing. And I mean, what do you make of the vision, Pacino? I mean, that was pretty intense, right? I mean, you were there.
I guess that stuff just doesn't work on me. I'm too big for it. I didn't get much out of it. I couldn't really see anything, and, well, it's probably a good thing, because Paige almost crawled into the fire, and you almost picked up a chunk of wood and beat somebody with it, so I think it's probably best if I don't try doing that stuff.
Well, all you're hearing, Dave, is next time I'm going to need like double or triple the dose.
Yeah, Lloyd starts going back to the Pez dispenser and he's counting the acid tabs. Yeah, we'll get you next time, Pacino. Don't you worry.
All right. So this guy's picking up her stuff, picking up her bow.
Savi, I'm going to ask her really quick. I put my hand on her shoulder. Why the cave that speaks? Why that name? What?
There are voices.
What's the history of that name?
There are voices that come from that cave. Voices we can't understand, and we don't. We can't make sense of constantly, day and night. There's just these voices echoing out of it. No one's really gone in or inspected it, because Truffaut has always declared it to be off limits. Look, I'd really like it if you guys came with us. I mean, I think there's going to be some danger ahead and all that, but we got to talk about something here. She goes over to Pacino and she tweaks that little ring that you've got in your ear there, that little tag. She's like,
Did she climb halfway up my body to get it, or does she just gesture and I lean over? Because I'm like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, she just sort of gestures at it, sort of thing. She takes an arrow and taps it, ting, ting, ting. Like, I know we all have these things, and it's common knowledge not to take them off, because even though they can track us with these things, when we take them off, there tends to be retaliation. But I'm not asking you to do it now, but I think you need to start thinking seriously about what you want to do, because the things that we do, and she'll pull her tail around and she'll show you where a chunk of it's missing at the end. Sometimes you have to make a hard decision about these things. All of us have made the decision to take him off. It's not much, but it's a bit of a sign of our dedication to what we're doing. Something you're going to have to think about at some point. They can track you with those things. They know where you are. They can find you. Most of the time, sure, they leave you alone, but
I'll think about it. But
so Rocky's taking his off, right? Rocky doesn't have one.
Up to you.
Okay.
Like, you've been hanging around for a while, but I would think that you probably would have taken.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
Do the rest of us have these devices on us?
All the animals have them. All the animals have these things, and that's how the machines keep track.
It's a tag, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just one of those things that, like, Pacino just forgets about. And he just kind of like touches his ear and nods and says, I'll think about it, but I've got something else I have to deal with first. And he, kind of politely shifts her to the side a little bit as he steps past her and goes to follow Paige.
Yeah, so Dave, all the animals have them, so you can decide where your tag is, but how you feel about it, but it's usually like
probably in the ear, I would say.
So what's Paige doing?
So he decided to kind of take like I would say a stroll, probably like maybe a lap around the perimeter. I think he'd be too afraid to go too far away because then he might get lost, given where we're at. But yeah, he's like been trying to like stifle it, but you could tell that he's like really shaken up by the whole thing, and he's very teary-eyed and a lot of like internalizing ramblings to himself. I
Do
know
you
that
think
like
he's paying
Yeah.
much attention to his surroundings?
Oh, absolutely not. I think he is just he's definitely way too inside his head right now.
So I think that Pacino then just kind of walks up and like steps in front of him and lets him like bump into his side, and just like looks down at him as he looks up and says, "You're right there, little guy."
Oh.
Just kneels down in front of him, getting as close as he can to eye contact, and says, puts like a hand up on his shoulder and says, "It's all right. Everybody gets scared sometimes. Everybody has things up here that get to us in here." And he just kind of taps on Paige's chest. "There's nothing wrong with it."
Yeah, I guess you're right. Some things are just sometimes they're too heavy.
Yeah. That's why you got friends to help you carry the burden. And he just kind of opens up his arms in front of him, like in, that hug that he had given him at the bunker, just waiting to see if he wants it.
Yeah, he slow, like just, of course, like when he bumped into you for a minute, like he's kind of was like a little bit on his butt, but he gets up and shambles towards you and just takes the hug in.
Give him a nice bear hug and just kind of gentle squeeze. Like obviously, Pacino could squeeze the life out of him if he wanted, so he's got that, that he's doing
trying
that.
to suffocate you.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can. Like you can tell that he's had to do this his whole life, and so he's actively trying not to do anything to hurt you, particularly with the patched up scar on the back. And you hear him just say, "You're a good reptile."
You just hear though, like the slight sob, and then just the muffled "Thank you, Pacino."
"Anytime, little man. It's what I'm here for." And
that beautiful moment. Yes, go ahead.
And then he just kind of looks back at the rest of the group and says, "I think we got to get going. Are you going to be okay to walk?"
Yeah, I think I'll be okay. I needed that.
"No problem." Just kind of leads him back to the rest of the group.
Cool. And as you, after this beautiful moment, as you all grab your gear, your stuff, your rations, your supplies, we'll start heading out down the hill into the valley and looking for a moose. And we are going to take a short break here to use the Kleenex and wipe our eyes. And
that was some high drama there. Crap.
And,
did I get you pretty good, didn't I?
Write a letter of
you did.
insult to Dave for making me GM. A whole bunch of people taking.
Ethan, I bet you didn't know you were going to get it on a role play acid trip tonight.
Didn't know that. I don't know if my wife is watching or not. We'll see.
We should have warned you. Oh God,
that's good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
For what it's worth, I was that guy in school too, keeping everybody else tripping balls from hurting each other. So,
all right. So yes, thank you.
Feel that.
Stick around. We'll be back in just a few short minutes.
And we're back, everybody. Thanks for being here. We got a bunch of new folks that have joined us, and we appreciate the follows and the subs. You guys are awesome. Shout out to Casual Joker, Gaylord K. Damn, you guys are fantastic. We appreciate y'all being here. Hey, Jerboa Tamer, 77. I love that one. Good to see you back. And Biggie Paw. Good people. Appreciate you guys. All right. We're gonna jump back in. I'll drop some chat commands or some chat messages in here to plug all your Twitters and stuff as we go.
All right. So I just before we go in, we had a great little moment there before the break, and I want to apologize to the players because I wasn't really focused on it. I was thinking about what I was going to do after break, and I kind of rushed it a little bit. You guys deserve better than that. It was an awesome moment. Everyone was really into it. So my apologies. I will certainly do better in the future. You deserve, you deserve to have that spotlight shone on you. It was beautiful. So thank you very much. My apologies.
That was fun. No, that was fun.
All good.
All right. So you set off with Savvy and Rocky going down into the valley, and Savvy's setting a pretty quick pace as she's trying to reach this moose called Coleridge that Lloyd just saw in his absolutely not chemically induced vision a moment ago, and he brought his friends along with him because he's a giver. Lloyd's a giver. Cheers.
He's very generous. Yep.
And so she's setting a pretty quick pace as you move down through the trees. You actually have a few times to avoid patrols and checkpoints by the machines. What you're realizing is that both Savitskaya and Rocky seem to kind of have this down to a science. They seem to know when there's patrols coming. They seem to know where the things are, how to avoid them. Rocky's pretty good climbing into trees and causing distractions or something as you guys sort of walk around, and you kind of get the feeling they've done this before, and you kind of get the feeling they know things. Like, they obviously have studied these machines. They obviously sort of know more about them. Most of the time people just kind of, it's just a fact of life that the machines are there. But these guys seem to have kind of made it their job to sort of know how to go around that. One of the things that marks you on your way in is at some point you see some smoke coming a little bit off the beaten path, and Savitskaya wants to go check, as she says that they know the people who live in that area, and when she guides you over there, you're just in time to see this little hut, this little house that is burning, and this giant sort of four-legged vehicle, this machine that looks kind of like a crab almost. It's got two guns. It's got these big legs that walk, and a couple of the other, some drones flying around, a couple of the other machines, and you're just in time to see them pulling this family of raccoons from the house and sort of bringing them in. And when you see this, everyone's blood starts to pump, and you kind of want to go in, but it's clear that there's nothing you can do. There's so many of them. There's half a dozen machines there, plus that giant vehicle that's got mounted cannons, and you can tell that it really sort of burns Savvy to see this. She's shaken with rage, but and she knows this family of raccoon, but she's like, there's nothing we can do. We'd just be throwing our lives out after there. So we have to wait and see what we can do for them later. And she'll tell you that the best way to help them is to find Truffaut and get going with what we want to get going. So you guys sort of have to figure out how you kind of feel about that, but it's clear that there was nothing you could do. But you saw that, raccoon napping, basically, them being dragged into this vehicle, kicking and screaming. That's right. And as you go, Savvy will talk a little bit about this is what they do. They come around, they grab people, they take them away. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. You've seen them, but she'll say that this is what they're interested in sort of stopping, because it's obviously horrible and not fair for the people who live here, but also there's just this living in fear constantly of being watched and of them showing up anytime and having no recourse. And you can tell it's very important to her, and like she's a true believer sort of thing. So as you're going through the valleys, you have that little experience that kind of shakes you a little bit, and then a little bit later, maybe half an hour later or something, Rocky, who's been out scouting, you've gone out ahead a little bit, Rocky, jumping from tree to tree, and you saw up ahead there's like the way sort of goes up, and you're arriving at this bridge that spans this kind of little chasm in the forest. And Rocky, you've gone up ahead, and you saw on that bridge what looked like two machines, and they had, in fact, just like you saw in Lloyd's vision, a moose on the ground between them, and he was shackled, and they're hanging out, and you figure they're probably waiting for some sort of vehicle to move him, because he's really, really quite large. And so having seen that, you're coming back now to report to them as they're kind of waiting in line. And you guys can't see what's going on the bridge because you're sort of below it. So you've seen this, Rocky, two of these guys, two of these robots, and now you're coming back to the group.
So, coming back kind of my loping gait a bit, and I'm going to tell the group what I saw, kind of telling it mostly to Savvy, but, kind of talking to Savvy, but also making sure you guys know as well that there's these two machines, two kidnapper bots, and they have got the moose. She looks at Lloyd. They've got the moose. They've got Coleridge shackled. It looks like they're waiting for transport. And so it looks at Savvy and says, something we've seen before. I don't know how much time he has, but I don't think much. The machines look powerful.
We better get going then. And Pacino just like looks over at Lloyd and Paige, and without even like waiting for responses, just picks up his hammer and goes in whatever direction the monkey came from.
So he's like, is he always like this? Like, is he just done YOLO in there?
Pretty much, yeah. He likes to get into the fight. We better go and provide some support. Rocky, there's just two of them, right? Two of these kidnap bots?
Yeah, two, but not for long, I bet.
Shit. Well, Pacino's right. We got to do something. This was in the vision, right, guys? Paige?
Yeah. I think the gun. I think the rifle will help with this. Hopefully we can take them out soon. But I don't want to leave Paige by himself. We need to hurry. Yeah.
Let's go.
So,
okay.
Lofts this over his shoulder so that he's able to like run with it, because like holding it like this is like throwing his shell swinging too much because of it. So it's like throwing off his gait, so he has to put it on his shoulder in order to get like the right kind of run.
All right, so as you approach the bridge, you can take a look at Albert Rodeo. I've been big into one of the bots so that you know what you're dealing with. So as opposed to that first bot that you saw first night, was like all rusted and the armor was falling off, and you look kind of, these are brand spanking new, shiny lights, guns, all sorts of things. The armor on these things looks sort of massive. They got like these sort of bent back legs, kind of like some birds do, and they have guns and a bunch of things. They just look like they're about easily like 7 feet tall, and on this bridge there's two of them, and they have captured in some sort of electronic shackles. There's these sort of big manacles that are clasping the hands and the legs of this giant moose. And you know that the moose in Paradise Valley are different than a lot of the other animals in that they don't live in tribes. They're solitary. There's very few of them, and they always live solitary lives, kind of moving about a lot. So they don't necessarily have a lot of friends and families or support. And this one's just kind of on the ground. He's obviously got some wounds. He's got a backpack with some stuff that they've kind of ripped open, and all his belongings and the stuff's kind of scattered out on this bridge. And there's a staff that's nearby, like this metal rod that he's got that he uses as a walking stick, probably. That's on a wall, and they are guarding him as if they're kind of waiting for something, right? So there's this one's kind of looking off. This one's kind of looking off in this direction. This one's kind of scoping on this direction, and they're just kind of at, kind of easy work with just sort of scanning around. And the moose is really big, so it's clear that they're waiting for some sort of vehicle. So you guys are coming up this hill here. I put your tunes wherever you can sort of scatter them and figure out where you want to be with your characters.
I have two things actually, if I could interrupt for a second.
Yep.
One is just to confirm, we got up to our 2 feral points back.
Yeah.
At the start of the session,
We'll
right?
start
Okay.
again with the 2 feral points.
Yeah. Or however many animal powers you have. I think we all still only have 2.
Yeah.
And then, despite the notion that Pacino is just running headlong into this, at the sight of the 2 machines, I think I would like to try and stealth to try to get an ambush in.
I'm just going to see, once we set the scene, I'm going to assume you're below this line, and then we can figure out how you guys want to approach. Like I said, I just put your tokens there to have them wherever. So once we'll roll initiative, and then you can sort of tell me how you want to approach it and all that. I didn't assume you were kind of just rushing in blindly. And
yeah, okay.
As we're running up, I want Rocky quickly up, moving up. Rocky comes up to Pacino's vast bulk and says, Pacino, let me scout the situation quickly and to give us our best line of attack.
He will just like grab onto the back of your duster jacket and like shove you forward, not like violently to throw you off your feet or anything, but just to be like, all right, get going then.
All right, so one more thing I want to tell you guys, and then I'll ask each of you how you want to prepare. So the bridge here will be one zone, all right? The areas immediately clear around it will be the second zone, and then further out along those rocks, along here, and along here will be the third zone, right? Just so that we're clear on that. So I'm going to have you roll initiative in a second. Now I'm just going to go around as I have you on my screen and ask you if there's anything you want to do before we do the initiative, or anything you want to prepare, a power you want to use, anything you want to do. And when I get to you and ask you what you want to do, move your token to where you want to be when initiative. Okay? So I'm going to start actually with Rocky then, if you would tell us, Ethan, where Rocky's going to sort of be positioned, and if you want to do anything before the initiative.
Rocky wants to position himself behind this rock and try to get a good line of sight on Coleridge and his captors, and probably going to do a scout action and see if he can provide any intel to his mates about what might be the best way. Are the scouts, the kidnap bots, are they looking anyway in any direction in particular more than the other? Do they have any kind of vulnerabilities, or maybe they have cover from the bridge that will force us to do something?
So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do actually is give me a sneak roll, just to get a sense of, if.
Yep.
It's not going to be they see you and all hell breaks loose, but just to get a sense of once you're there. So you're going to roll.
Looks like I got 3 dice on that.
Sneak plus your agility, yeah.
Yep. 1 success.
Okay, that's good enough. So you disappear through the bushes, so you can position yourself where you want to be, and you can go ahead and make me a scout roll.
So right there, and a scout roll is 2 plus wits. It's 7 dice.
Nice.
Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
No successes in one of those bad-looking symbols.
Oh no!
Oh.
Those don't mean anything until you push your roll. Do you want to push your roll and get a success?
Yeah, you have the option of pushing. You're guaranteed to get 1 feral point out of it, but you're also going to suffer 1 wits damage. If you at least 1 wits damage if you do.
I feel like I should push it.
Yeah.
Push it.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No.
Oh my god.
What
Uh-oh.
happened?
Two of the bad symbols. That's
Oh
it.
no, biohazard.
Okay. So
Okay.
2 biohazard symbols.
That is 2 feral points, though. You do get 2 feral points.
Okay.
But
Then I have 4 feral points.
and you take 2 damage to your wits.
Okay.
To
yeah.
confusion.
Yeah, got it. There.
So when you get there,
Oh.
you climb up there and you take a look, and all of a sudden you're like, "What the hell? Like, you've never seen these models before. You have no clue what you can do, what they can do. The bridge, you're looking at it, you're thinking, I mean, can we get under it? Can we do this?" And like, it's just not working. Like, you're not seeing a clear path. You're used to kind of knowing, kind of where to go and all that. But then it presents itself to you. You're like, oh yeah, this is exactly what we need to do. You take a look at these things. You take a look at this there, and you're like, the best thing you can do. You won't tell the guys this. The best thing you guys can do to fight these things is to stand at long range down this bridge right here and open up on them. Like, the worst thing to do would be to go up and fight them hand to hand.
I'm gonna spin to Pacino and do that motion in that direction towards over here as you did.
So
And then
we'll go to Pacino then next. Go ahead, Pacino, and make me.
So, yeah, I need to do stealth. I'm attempting to stealth up here to the trees, and I would like to actually watch the machines and try to use my measure enemy warrior ability on them for the first time.
Okay, that's good. So go ahead and give me the stealth.
Yeah, let me just get that. So, whopping 2 dice. Oh, I rolled a 6 and a 1 on my 2 dice. So that is 1 success. The 1 doesn't count, right?
No, good enough.
Okay,
so
good.
Ginormous bear just kind of gets down on all fours and crawls up there. And when you get near that tree, you kind of get a good vision on him. So go ahead and use your
measure enemy. So this one I have a lot more dice on. I'm going to actually use my advantage on this too.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I should have used it on the stealth.
advantage gives
to be
you 2
safe,
more dice.
but
2 more die on your roll.
2 more green dice, yeah.
Yeah.
That is 3 successes. I am not pushing though because I also rolled 2 1s. So I'm not pushing.
Push it.
Okay, so someone had given someone an advantage earlier, also in the chat. I don't know.
I think it was Kay.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Oh, Kay is such a lovely person.
Thank you, Kay.
Kay is absolutely amazing. Yeah, we love Kay with all our heart. I don't know who they gave it to, so
whoever needs it.
All right, so anytime someone needs it, so explain to us, Miko, how this power that you have works, and remember that for every feral point you're going to spend on it, you have to roll.
I don't have to spend feral. This is my skill.
Oh, your skill.
Yeah, this is my measure enemy warrior skill, which basically allows me to sit and study a target and try to figure out ways in which I would fight them. And so, because I got
extra dice later, right?
Well, I have options on how to use those dice, so
nice.
I can. When I attack them, I can choose to use those dice later to give them levels of doubt damage. I can get modifications to my attacks, and I can get initiative. And since I rolled 3 successes, I think what I'm going to do is just give myself a +1 modification to all my attacks against them. But then I'm going to use the other 2 for my initiative so that I can improve my initiative roll, which I had originally rolled as a 3, and I'm going to make it a 5 instead.
Okay, so the first thing that strikes you is that Rocky must still be under the effect of the acid, because he literally told you to do the absolute worst thing you can do against these things. These things, when you look at them, are armed with what appear to be fairly powerful rifles. So you know that just standing at distance, exchange with them is probably going to get you smoked. They do seem to be fairly fragile around the middle section, but there's kind of overlapping armor that protects them. So absolutely the best way to fight these things is to get in close.
Oh no, Rocky.
Well, particularly for me, Like, I don't have a ranged option. I am a
No.
ranged option. I just charge in.
But you know, you're
So,
figuring like if maybe there's a setup somewhere where Paige can start shooting at the far one or something to kind of limit
Mhm.
him, and then everybody else bums rush the first guy or the first robot. Like that would probably be a much better plan than whatever Rocky's drug-addled brain just spewed at you. You're really looking at him like side-eyed. You're like, dude.
Rocky's using all these like SWAT team maneuvers because you don't know what they even mean.
as he's doing all of these gestures, and I look at him very confused, I just look back at Paige, and then I point in the direction of the robots, and then I make a gesture of like a gun, and then I give him a big thumbs up, and then I look at Lloyd, and I'm just like,
So speaking of Paige, then, what would you like to do before we start initiative here? And where would you like to set up?
So does both Pacino and Lloyd happen to have any like liquid vessels that I could pour something into that they can carry with themselves without it spilling while they're in the middle of, like, you know?
Yeah, so your
wrestling with
awesome little
people.
thermos has little cups that you can unscrew out of, and they come with little caps. So you
Awesome.
can pop out like 3 of those. Your thermos is like amazing.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
these little,
I
like,
need this thermos in my life.
So like the thermos is on the inside, and the outside, because you have your three sections, right? The hot, the cold, and each one of them, the outer shell unscrews, and it's like a little cup, and you know, there's a little thing, so you can give up to 3 people little potions to take with them if you want.
Okay. I definitely would have distributed a healing one to Pacino and Lloyd individually, just because since they, you know, I anticipated I was going to be far away from where the actual action is, because, you know, it's not within him to be that close.
And what do those potions do?
That one, the healing one it's a D6 to strength damage.
If you're wounded, you pop it, and you get a D6 back.
And just mechanically, does that take an action or a maneuver?
I would say maneuver to take the potion, yeah.
Excellent.
Nice. That's awesome.
And where would you like to set up after that, Paige?
So I'm looking at the setup here, and it seemed like Pacino was kind of like maybe signaling to be somewhere around here to try and get a good shot on that. Sorry, I gotta hold it down to get a shot on that one.
Yeah, or you could also climb up here if you wanted, like get ready and just kind of pop over the boulder, and that would give you like a shot on them if you wanted. It's an option.
That's a good point, because I'm not sure if there really is, besides just visual cover, there isn't really like a bullet cover. So I think the stone probably has a better chance of stopping bullets. Who knows? Maybe they're high caliber and they'll go through stone too.
Yeah, so you can go and set
hope
up
not.
Rocky there.
Yep. You know what? Chances are it definitely would have made sense to send me, you know, like that. That was actually a good suggestion. Actually, I think that's where Pacino probably would have suggested even. And that's where I end up putting Paige actually to run up there, on his shoulder as he's going all the way up to the rock. It's just, he comes up, you see Paige coming up towards Rocky. He's like, okay.
Hey, buddy.
I'm okay.
So he pulls out this huge black, like it's bigger than him. And the way it works is it's kind of folded, and you unfold it, clunk, and then it locks so that the barrel is kind of like, when you carry it, you can fold it, and then you clunk.
Oh, awesome. You know what? That is actually pretty good. It's like, it's tightening it really quick. It's like, this is only the second time I've had to shoot this thing. He climbs up towards the rock and like kind of peeks over just a teeny little bit.
And Lloyd
looks over, sees Pacino give him a signal, the punch signal. He knows exactly what that means now that they've been together for some time. So he is going to use all of his movement as he passes by Savvy. He just says, I think you and I's got some things to talk about, Savvy. Maybe after we takes care of this shit here. Maybe. All right. And he just keeps running, and he's going to try and get as close to the bridge as he can. Bounding. I'll probably use my fast reflexes for my initiative.
Okay.
So I'll use 2 feral points on that.
I'll give you +4 to your initiative if you do that.
Yep. Can you?
Maybe I'll just do 1. What does that
give me?
give me?
Give me a stealth check.
It gives me
+2.
Yep. Yes, I will give you a stealth check. Let's see. Is that a sneak? Got it. Sneak check.
Sneak. Sorry.
All right, no problem. So that's going to be agility, which I'm pretty good at. So that's 4 skill dice. Sneak, I've got some points in that for 3. I don't suppose my pink and white varsity jacket gives me any camouflage benefit for gear.
No, not in the snow. No, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, I didn't think so, but it never hurts to ask. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, I got 2 attribute successes.
All right.
Nice.
Does that
Pretty
mean I
awesome
get
stuff.
I don't suppose that means I get any
Doesn't mean anything except that they don't see you and they don't kill you.
All right.
Well, no, that's not
Do
true.
I get a stunt?
If he only needed 1, he can get a stunt. He can use the other one for a stunt to get +1 on his first attack.
So there you go.
So I get a +1. Let's see. +1 mod to
You
my
get a
first
+1 to
attack for
your-
every extra.
yeah.
Okay, rolled. All right, so +1 on my first attack. All right.
So sneak attack, you get a +1 for attack for extra. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Absolutely.
Okay. So I race up. Do I need to do anything for using my feral point? Do I need to
No,
make a
like
feral point? I think I need to make a roll, don't I?
He has to
on the
roll. He has to
feral
roll.
table?
Roll 1d6. Yeah.
On the feral table. Here we go. So this basically.
Well, now
if
feral
I-
table
No,
yet,
roll,
if you-
first roll just to see if you have to roll on the.
Oh, right. So if I get
Yeah.
a biohazard, then I roll on the feral table, which is fun.
Yep.
The feral table is pretty fun because you like tap into like some of your animalistic side, and it really. We had some fun in session 0 with that, didn't we, guys?
Uh-huh.
You are
Uh-huh.
also the only one who has actually failed this out of all of the feral rolls, and you've not only done it once, you've done it twice.
Twice. Well, folks, I'm happy to report that I have done it only twice because I did not roll a failure on this one. So I rolled a 3, so I think I'm okay.
All right.
Good job.
Moving very rapidly, Savitsky is going to cut back down a little bit lower, and then make a roll for her here. All right.
Shit's about to get crazy.
Okay, that's good. And she's going. You're going to see her after a moment coming up around here, having climbed up there.
Oh, geez.
From around the other side and pulling an arrow.
Does she have
from-
rabbit legs?
No, she doesn't, but she's got like a grappling. She's got trick arrows. She's got like a little grappling hook arrow, which went up there. All right, and as soon as she's in position, she looks over at Scar, at Pacino, and nods.
Okay.
Booyah.
So do we want initiative, or do we want
Initiative.
just me to go first? Okay.
Just roll initiative. And remember to write it on.
In Albert.
Yep.
On your token.
Which is a very convenient name for a VTT for Mutant Alpha
For this
0.
game, yeah, absolutely.
It sure is.
Mm.
So just put on your token. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
got
have
mine on
an
my
8
token.
total with my my fast reflexes power.
Nice.
Damn, man. You are very fast.
I'm gonna use my
This
initiative.
map brought to you by Incarnate, which is the ultimate
Ooh.
making tool.
Did you make this?
Sweet. Yeah.
No, I robbed it off of the
The community.
public. I was there and I finagled it to do what I needed
It's
to.
really nice.
That's
Really
very
nice.
good.
I'm gonna use my initiative to put on some battle music.
Do it.
Yeah, the Sony Walkman.
Oh, that'd be sweet, dude. Lloyd just puts on these big, huge earmuff headphones, kind of like these.
Lady Gaga.
Okay, it's got serious.
All right, so starting at 8.
Oh, thank God.
Ah, yes. Can I get there and start punching?
Yeah, because you're basically, I would say you can use one maneuver to get in. You're one zone out, so you can use a maneuver to get in and then go to town.
Now, if I spend a feral point, I can use my jumper power, and I can close the distance without using my maneuver. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use a feral point.
Okay.
And I'm going to close the distance by leaping. I'll make my feral point roll. I rolled a 5. So I get here, and then that means that I can do some brass knuckle punching. And I get my +1 because of the... Why? I forget why, but I remember I get one.
The sneak.
Yeah, for the sneak attack.
Oh,
Your
yeah, the
successful sneak.
Thank you, thank you.
So describe.
So that's
describe
only this fight.
lead.
It's not for later.
Describe this lead run save.
Yep. So
what-
Lloyd hops up on the hand, sort of like the handrail thing here, and then launches off, landing up on the shoulders of this thing, and just starts punching it right in the soft spots around the neck, as he likes to do, with some brass knucks.
Punch it in the throat.
That's right. That's right.
This thing is a robot, so it's hard to read emotions, but it does seem freaking surprised all of a sudden after riding its grill.
Hi-ya! Coming through the air with the brass knuckle. All right.
You
So
shove on your
let's see.
feet too.
I think the robot should just be thankful that he isn't a bear, because we all
And-
know what Lloyd does to bears when he jumps on their head.
That's true. And he should also be thankful that I did not drop
heard about
another
that, too.
tab of acid.
That's right.
All right. So that's a strength and fight. And I get
Yeah,
the plus
don't forget
1.
to add gear dice for your knucks.
And my knucks are +1.
So
And
another +1 for the sneak
for the
attack.
sneak, here we go. I'm rolling 8 dice total. Oh my god, I got 3 successes, 1 in skill and 2 in skill and 1 in attribute. And no failures.
Nice, awesome.
Nice.
So what do you want to pull off as far as stunts go?
As a stunt, with a fight. Do I get 2 stunts or just 1?
2 stunts.
2 stunts. All right. I am going to punch him so hard that he falls to the ground. And then I'm going to get another punch and inflict 1 more point of damage as he's on the ground. It's just going to ground and pound, baby.
Pound and pound. In fact, I didn't do this correctly because we should have subtracted the armor from the attack, but I love it. So what's going to happen is, as it says there, you knock. Your opponent falls to the ground or is pushed back, for example, through a doorway or over a cliff. And so as you come in flying at this thing and just Superman punch him,
Oh, shit.
coming in at him and clap him, like he now becomes top heavy with you on his
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
And with the punch, he steps back. His back leg catches on the battlement of the bridge.
Over
and
the
he goes
cliff.
over.
I'm going to launch off at the last minute.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a chance to give me.
Good thing you saved that maneuver.
You have that maneuver. That's right. So you can move. So at the last second, as he falls to the bridge below, to the sort of little riverbed below, he falls down, and you manage to just sort of jump off and land. Beautiful move. Beautiful. I like
And then
it.
I'll just look over at the moose and go, Coleridge, we're here to save ya.
He's like, I've seen you before.
I've seen you, buddy.
The machine falls off the bridge through the ice and disappears in the water below the bridge. All right, going on at 5. after Lloyd's supreme action Jackson there is
That was
Pacino.
fun.
So I will have to use a feral point to use my fleet-footed ability to close in and be able to attack. So let me go ahead just to figure that out first. I will go ahead and roll my feral.
Dave, did you roll for the feral point? That
I
you
did,
used?
yeah. I rolled a 5.
Awesome.
Yep.
I also rolled a 5 for my feral point spend just now. So basically, roaring out of this tree, Pacino just comes flying across the battlefield, leaps over Lloyd, and as he is in the air, like drags the giant sledgehammer pick out, and like flying through the air, just tries to bring the hammer down right on top of the machine as he lands next to the moose.
All right, let's do it. And Travis, I want to say, because you had earlier, I gave you that trauma. You have 1 additional feral point. When you get trauma, you get the feral point, right?
Oh boy. Okay.
Because it was your primal fear, because it was the fire, right? So that's your trade-off. All right, go for it. I'm going to roll my armor.
All right, so rolling my strength plus fight plus my measure enemy bonus plus my sledge bonus. That is 5 successes, and the only
Wow.
ones that I got were on skill.
All right, that's pretty solid. He's got 2 rolls on his armor. So
I have armor piercing.
2, all right, so -1. So I should have rolled 1 less. So I have to remember I have to roll 1 less dice. But we'll say it's 1 less success. So 1 success, you lose 1 of your successes. Go ahead and what do you want to do stunt-wise?
Okay, so I am just going to pump it all into damage. So that's a total of 8 damage.
Wow. Did you say 8?
8.
Wow.
8 strength damage.
All right, that's pretty massive. He's going to use his next action, which is coming up, to try and defend himself from this, because he don't want to die. Well, he doesn't care dying one way or the other, but his, programming is
Programming.
that he doesn't want to die. All right.
Improvisation.
Can't blame him. He's gonna, though.
He's got bad fighting, but all right. So I got 2 successes out of that. That's 6 damage. That he gets 2, 3. So as Pacino jumps in and hammers that thing with the pick side of his thing, you guys see it crunches in and it pierces through the thing's chest plate and just roars it out, and the chest plate just rips out of this guy's off this guy's body and goes careening off over the bridge and down into the valley below. It hits the ice and just slowly starts sliding down into the valley below. As he hits him, and sparks go flying and smoke comes shutting out of that thing, and bits and pieces of metal just go flying, and the thing is rocked and kind of puts a knee on the ground. It's not completely out yet, but it's in dire. There's a little thing inside. You can almost hear it going, critical damage, as it's on the ground trying to sort of pick itself up from this massive action. All right, good job, good show on that one. Next at 4 is both Paige and Savitskaya. I'll let you go first, Paige.
Okay.
Can I help Paige, because I'm in 3? My initiative's 3. Can I use my action to help Paige in any way, to steady the gun, to steady him? So he does a better job?
You can spend your action you're going to get in a minute to assist him. So you kind of hold him up as he's trying to kind of get over that thing. So you can take an extra dice, Page.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Is that it's a skill dice?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, I get up there, and I heft this thing, and of course it's not very heavy. It's just that the bulk of it, trying to carry it and everything. Lay it down, and I take the maneuver to ready the shot and let the screen kind of help me see how to move the gun around and lock onto the machine. that Pacino is engaged with. And as soon as it looks like the box goes and blinks, that's when I'm gonna end up pulling the trigger. And he just kind of before pulling the trigger, says down to Rocky, keep me steady, and just pull the trigger, and you don't feel any feedback. You just feel like it was almost like a, and it powers up, and then it just kind of discharges, and nothing flies out, but you see a sudden go out. And I'm gonna roll the bit, and I got 1 success. Holy shit. I'm not pushing this because it's 2 explosions on the skill die, on the gear dice.
Yeah.
1 success. So that's 1, and then the +3 against machines, right?
Yeah, and his armor doesn't count because it's an EMP gun, and he's already used his actions to defend himself. So what you're seeing, Rocky, is you're holding him up, and he's got this thing, and he's aiming, and then it kind of locks, and there's a little dee kind of thing, and then he pulls the trigger, and you can feel the vibrations through, as you're holding up Paige, you can feel the vibrations through him as this gun is kind of winding up. There's like a high-pitched winding sound, and then kind of and then nothing, just kind of like a shower by lightning and nothing. And suddenly on the bridge, you see sparks explode. You see this thing kind of get up and start punching itself in the head as it kind of spins, and the arm kind of locks backwards, and the gun jams into its side, and all of a sudden it just lands super heavily on the ground, completely shut down, completely.
As the Beach Boys would say, those are good vibrations.
Good vibrations. All right, as Savitskaya is going and she looks at you, Paige, and she looks at that gun, and you can tell the gears are running in her head. 2 plus 2 are starting to equal 4 as you see that. So that was at 4, and at 3, you helped him. At 2, you see a whole bunch of steam rise from under the bridge as riding on sort of jetpacks and flames coming out of behind its legs. This thing shoots out from under the ice, melting the ice and boiling the water, and all this steam comes rising up with it as it hovers up into the sky and locks down on you, and you see a little box on his shoulder open up, and then a little cab falls down, and all of a sudden a bunch of rockets or mini or something fly out of there and start littering the bridge in front of it. So I don't know. I don't think you need to. Oh, that's the guy. Sorry, I thought you'd put the dead skull on you. I'm like, hey, well, you can wait to see what happens.
No, why would I do that?
So this area now, and we will mark it in red for you guys. This area is now covered with little explosive devices that go off. So you can, if you want, you can spend your action from next round to try and do a dodge maneuver of some sort. Otherwise, you're relying on your armor to save your bacon. So while you decide what you want to do with that, I'm going to roll.
I am definitely going to dodge.
Yeah, I'm dodging. Gotta dodge.
Gotta get Coleridge.
Oh no!
Especially since I'm better at that now. I improved that after the last session.
All right, so if you're dodging, go ahead and roll your agility and your move.
I'm going to steal that advantage that Kay gave us.
Thanks, Kay.
Fair enough.
Thank you, Kay.
And then tell me how many 6s you get off of those 2 rolls.
2. And I'm not going to push because I also rolled a biohazard. So
okay,
it's very tempting to push, but I'm gonna hold off on that.
As for you, Lloyd?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to dodge. Probably jumping up onto the rail, maybe. Anywhere that I can get out of the blast zone.
Okay.
So that
go ahead
is
and try your
agility and move. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so 4 agility with 4 move. 2. And I'm gonna use my advantage.
Okay.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I got 2 ones on my green dice, my skills.
So it
Well, that doesn't
right
matter.
now. All that
Yeah.
matters right now is how many 6s you get.
Oh, no, I didn't get
Yep.
any 6s. Did I mention that?
Well, green dice on skill, actually, they're not biohazard, so they don't matter.
Okay.
It's only yellow dice it's yellow and black dice that the ones actually matter.
Yeah, I didn't get any 6s.
Okay. No problem. Now you guys can roll your armor. If you have armor, you can roll a number of black dice equal to your armor.
Are you going to push that roll though, Lloyd?
Can
if you push, you do not get to roll the ones again, but you get to roll everything else.
Yeah, I'm gonna push.
All right, you just have to push on the roller, and it's going to calculate which dice to reroll and which ones not to. And this is where it gets ugly.
Hey, thanks for the resub, Armin. You sexy bastard.
Totally randomly decided to do that.
I just rolled. Yeah, well, thanks for giving us some positivity because I just failed. And I have 3 ones.
What color?
1 is yellow and 2 are green.
Okay.
Okay, so
the yellow, only the yellow.
That's not good.
Yeah. So you have the one on the push. So you're going to take an agility. You're going to take a trauma to your agility.
Okay.
Earn a fate point.
Okay.
Feral point.
Yep.
So
I knew what you meant.
And so that's the total is 1. So you get 1 trauma for that. All right. So that's fine. It's not too bad. You're not too in too big of a pickle right now. Now you can go ahead and roll your armor. If you have armor, you can go ahead and roll your armor.
All right. I do have the.
Do I need to roll that as well?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to help.
Okay.
I've got the pink and white varsity jacket, which is a 2 armor.
That padding, man.
Hell yeah. God damn it.
Nothing.
I got 1 success on that.
My armor is completely blown to bits.
Oh.
No, only if you push. Only if you push that it takes damage.
Oh, okay. So I have 2 failures, 2 explosion symbols.
So these little sort of microbombs lit in a place, and they all start kind of exploding like that. Sorry, we'll start with Pacino, who had some good successes. You managed to, with your dodge, I don't know, are you going, how do you want to dodge this? You were trying to dodge, so how are you trying to avoid these explosions?
So I'm imagining it's very much a like leaping on top of the machine that got like the dying machine and just like almost like surf riding it through some of the explosions.
I like that. So that, yeah, you kind of jump on it and it kind of lifts up, and then you get rocked by another one and it kind of pushes you out of the path of the other explosions. You still manage, with your 3 successes, you still manage to take 1 damage. So you take 1 trauma to your strength. You get nicked a little bit by some of the explosions, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. On the other hand, Lloyd, who was still kind of exulting from that Superman punch that he'd given this thing, and then just seeing it rise out of the water on these jets, and kind of staring at it and just going like, what the fuck even is this, you know?
I don't understand.
He sees these bombs coming, and he's like, what's this? And then he sees the bombs on the ground, and he's like, what's this? And as they start exploding, he leaps for the banister. He does this heroic hair leap, and as he does, his foot catches on the side of it. His foot catches on the side of it, and it holds him just long enough so that the explosion catches him in the ass as it fires off. It them off. So Lloyd, you find yourself flying through the air
Oh god.
and swapping places. And I'm going to do something with you in a second, so don't go too far, okay? You're kind of
Don't
going
go
ass
anywhere.
over tea kettle into there. All right.
Oh,
So
God.
you take Lloyd. You
Yeah.
take. Hold on.
I'm gonna need some free therapy. Hey, free therapy. Thanks for the follow.
Free therapy. Everyone involved. Right.
See
So
what I did there?
Yeah, we saw.
all right. So Lloyd, this is what happens. Normally
Okay.
you'd be taking 3 damage normally, but there's something really cool that you can do here because I think it's awesome.
Okay.
And so we're gonna go with it. So you take 2 damage as your tail is lit up.
Ow!
This explosion.
Ah.
And you fly through the air and you're flying straight at this thing. And you're flying straight at it. And next thing you know, you're landing right on it.
So you're on a machine.
You're hanging on to this thing
It's
on
got
its leg.
It's a
You got it by
jetpack,
like
right?
the kneecap armor or something. And you're kind of just holding on to this thing as it's hovering and flying in the air. And now with you there, it's kind of like wobbly with that extra weight and whatnot. It's kind of trying to keep control. But you know, beneath you, you feel the bridge start cracking as the explosions have rocked it. And you can see in places, you're not going to get to do like Legolas and kind of run across the falling pieces of rock here. But you see the cracks starting to kind of fall, and you hear underneath the ice breaking and some of the rocks falling into the thing. And Savage Sky on the thing is like, get off the bridge! As it's shaking and it's starting to fall apart. So like that business is coming at you. All right, beautiful. And there's still the moose is still there, and he was lucky because he was in that kind of little alcove and he was on the ground. So most of the explosions kind of missed him as they kind of popped up and exploded just above him. But he's looking at you like, oh.
Yeah. You call this a rescue?
And we're right back at the top.
We're here to rescue you.
With Lloyd. You're hanging on to this thing. It's flying. It's looking down at you, and it looks like it's probably going to try to shoot you or do something. But you're hanging on to this thing's kneecap as it's flying. Like you're up like maybe 30 feet in the air from the water at this point.
All right. Holy shit. So Lloyd is going to holding on with, he's going to wrap one of his arms around the leg of this thing, kind of looking up at it.
Yeah.
And he's going to pull out the little cup that Paige gave him, and he's going to, with his teeth, he's going to be like, with the cap, he's going to try to open it with his teeth. Oh, he spits the cap in his shirt pocket, and then he takes because he doesn't want to lose the cap to this thing, and then he takes the mug of tonic and just takes a shot.
Roll yourself a d6. See how many.
2.
Good, perfect. That's what you were missing, right?
Yeah, so that I get 2. I erase 2 damage or 2 wounds. Okay, sweet. So that's my
strength.
Hold on a second, Travis. It's the first time one of these guys drinks your potion. Tell us a little bit about how does it feel? What's the mouth feel? What does it taste like?
Yeah.
What's the aroma? What's going on?
So, okay. You gotta really tell that there is like the base of it. It has to be like a tincture of some sort. So the base of it is coming from that like incredibly pungent moonshine that I use. And then you're mixing in that with like, there's a slight bit of sweetness, but it's like a tart sweetness that's coming from like, I think you would consider like an echinacea or something like that.
Mm.
Like, what the heck is this? It's like, and then the bitterness punches you after like you thought it was fine. Yes, the burn. Okay, I could deal with that. A little bit of age, and then what the hell is this bitter herb that got mixed in there with it?
It kind of numbs the tongue a little bit.
Like you feel like a little bit of an analgesic, analgesic effect or something like that. You feel like the pain in your body kind of like leaves you. Like kind of like that burning that you had from like getting hit so hard, like kind of just like cools off.
Awesome.
Leaves a little fur on the tongue, you know.
So my guess is would that be my maneuver?
Yeah, we
Hair
said
of a
earlier
hair.
that would be a maneuver to chug one
Maneuver?
of those. So that's your
Okay.
maneuver.
So
to
then
do
I
an
still have
action.
an action, right?
Or another maneuver if you wanted to try
Or
and get
another
that
maneuver.
in there. You could try
Get him in
and
a headlock.
jump off of there if you wanted, or
Yeah, you know,
Give him the chair.
I'm on this guy. I mean, this is the best hand-to-hand range I'm ever going to be with this thing. I'm going to just start, I'm going to climb up like on the back of its head so it can't kind of like see me as it kind of looking to where I am. I'm like kind of around the back of it, and I'm just going to start punching it in the side of the head.
all right, go for it. Give us a punch roll.
All right, so that's
My armor while you do that.
and fight.
This guy needs a
And
clear button
knocks.
on it. Dice roll.
Yep, I got 2 successes.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, that's pretty awesome. 2 successes. I got no successes on my armor. So
I said
You're
go
dead.
down.
that's 2 damage. What do you want to do with it?
Just punch, just trying to put my fist right through the back of its head, and there might be like a little sort of like a compartment hatch perhaps on the back of the metal, and I see it as a weak spot, and I just punch at that, almost like trying to hit it right in the base of the, like where this potentially like a spinal cord would be attached. Just
And but you want to pull a stunt or? you
oh
wanna
yeah,
just
sorry.
damage?
I thought you were just asking for some additional flavor, which I'll go on for days. But instead, I'll do another point of damage.
Okay. Yeah, so you did find that sweet spot, and your knuckles are just going in there, and they're going to work, and you're crunching stuff that you have no clue what it is, but it looks important, so you're crunching it.
Yeah.
You're like the worst chiropractor in the business. You know, you're getting those cracks. You know, on
Yeah.
YouTube, you're getting those
Just
cracks.
hold still. Relax. Relax. You're so tense.
You're like a
Yo, lights
machine. Wait, you are a machine.
So stiff.
Pacino, the bridge is feeling very rocky and unsteady. You're picking yourself up off the ground.
Mhm. So I don't have an action because I used my action to defend against the explosion. So I only have a maneuver, which I'm guessing is not enough to grab the moose and to get out of get off of the bridge. So I am going to grab onto the moose and throw him off of the bridge, like to the land side, not into the water.
The water is pretty much everywhere underneath there.
Oh, that's pretty hefty, dude.
I mean, I would
No,
say that
I meant like I want to throw him over to there, to the end of the bridge.
okay.
I'm going to use my maneuver to throw him and sacrifice myself because I know I'm not going to be able to get off if I do
Alright.
it.
So go ahead and make me a strength because this thing is heavy. It's like I said, it's like 7 feet tall and it's like a lot of moose meat. So go ahead and give me a force.
Just delicious.
Okay.
Oh, it's a shame this guy wasn't called Bullwinkle. Because we got Rocky.
Oh yeah. They're Canadian, aren't they, Christian?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, the moose are Canadian. But he's named after an English poet, Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
So this is not in the Animal Power Huge description, but would you allow me to spend a feral point to increase my ability to throw this guy by 1?
Of course I would.
All right. I'm going to spend a feral point. That is my last feral point. I rolled a 4
Okay.
on the feral point, so no effect from that. So my strength is reduced by 1 because of my damage, but I do have good force and bonus. And I'm going to roll. I'm going to push this roll because I did not get any successes, but I also didn't get any 1s. So that is 1 success and 1 biohazard. So I'm going to take another point of strength damage from the push and get a feral point back.
So you grab this moose and very, very unceremoniously, basically, you just kind of grab him and you throw yourself on your back and catapult. He's heavy. He's heavy. Like this is one of the biggest efforts you've ever had to make. and you roll him off, and you get him just enough that he's kind of off the sort of main portion of the bridge. I'm going to say you can't get him into the other zone; it's too far. But you get him right at the edge, where the bridge
Sure.
is sitting on solid ground. And basically, as you do that, this is his face as he catapults out, and for a moment, it almost looks like he's gliding with his beautiful climb, but then he lands with a pretty hard crunch and rolls a little bit. And a very nice bit of self-sacrifice there. And then we will go to, that's at 5, and so at 4 will be Savitskaya and Paige again.
I'll help Paige again if you want to do that, but Lloyd's on the robot that's in the air, right? Yeah.
So you're thinking if you shoot that thing and he just shuts down and falls, there's a good chance Lloyd is going to be under him in the water. And how well does a hare swim?
The age-old question.
It is. It really is. We'll find out.
Join us next week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What am I thinking? Yeah, it's like, what? What are you doing? Get off him! And he's like, Rocky, what do I do? Do I shoot it?
I'm just there. I'm just there, like I'm, holding it. I can't see. That's my out. I can't see.
Wait,
I can't see.
All right, hold me steady, Rocky. And then
I'll use my action to hold you steady.
And I'm gonna try and ready a shot, and I'm doing my absolute best of hoping that Lloyd could manage to do something. If not, I'm gonna have to try something else. If he falls into the water, I'm probably gonna go diving after him.
Yeah.
Okay, so
my palms
2,
are sweating.
4, 3. I roll.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually give you a penalty here just for difficulty, because it's the first time you're shooting a moving target. It's the first time you shot, the cat was stuck in the door. The second time you shot, they were just standing there waiting. This is the first time that the target is up there, and with Lloyd on it, it's moving. So I'll give you a 1 dice penalty, as it's a more difficult target. So it balances out the help that Rocky's giving you.
Okay. Against the skill dice then. Okay.
Yeah.
I got no successes and 2 biosymbols on the attribute.
Are you push?
I
feel like the devil here. Would you like to?
I know. Well, yes, maybe I will push.
I haven't pushed before, and I am asking for a lot of trouble
Well,
here because.
What's your agility?
2.
You will
I have somebody below
instantly.
me.
Oh yeah, you'll go down. You'll be broken.
You'll instantly have all your fatigue.
But I'm right
I
down.
do have
here.
a-
you have a
I'm
surgeon.
underneath, yeah.
Yeah,
I have the
that's
surgeon
true.
right below
Rocky's
me.
right there. Maybe
So,
some loud metal music will help.
I pushed and got 1 success off of the gear.
All right, 1 success gets the job done, but the strain of trying to hit this and the pressure and the stress of all of it, as soon as you shoot and your hits this thing, you're like, feel lightheaded. And Rocky, you feel him kind of go
I got you,
limp
bro.
and drop down on top of you. So we'll do the damage, and then we'll see what happens to you. So go ahead and do the damage.
So that's 1 and 3, so a total of 4 to machine,
Ooh.
and they're not able to resist it because it's an EMP gun.
So it's pretty awesome. So it hits him, and Lloyd, for a second, you feel him go "Ooh," and start powering down, and the rockets start to misfire.
Oh
But
shit!
then there's like emergency power. Something activates, and there's a little bit of juice left in, and boom, shunting all power to a propulsion engine, and then his weapons kind of powered down, but like the propulsion kind of takes off, but he's still going down. Like he's been hit, and there's not enough power to hold him and fuel off. So you're going down slowly towards the bottom of the river, as like there's sparks. Also, he's taking a lot of damage. He's not completely out yet. And so back there, you get 2 feral points, Travis. For the trauma. So you take your 2 trauma to your agility, and you're just basically fainting as you're dropping down and the gun's coming down. And we'll get to Rocky in a second as Savitskaya's got her action. And now she can't see you've kind of gone below the bridge, so she can't see anymore the robot and you. So she's going to drop her bow and just sort of jump down, and she'll use her movement to come over here and pull him off to make sure that he doesn't go down. And she's going to reach into her pack and pull out her hook that she used earlier, and she's going to throw it towards Pacino. And as it's kind of flying towards you, she's busy trying to wrap it around one of the pillars on the side of the bridge, and this hook is just sort of flying towards you. And we'll see if it gets there on time. Here, I'll make her do an agility roll. So it'll be her agility. She's throwing this. Thankfully, she's got pretty high of both. I'll give her just a +1 to the gear. And she has one success and one doesn't count, so one success. So this rope comes out at you, and the grappling hook on it hits just next to you, and like kind of skitters on the ground, just within reach of where you are, Pacino. At 3, Rocky, he's coming down. He's coming down. This turtle's falling on top of you, all ragdolling. The gun is coming down behind him. It clatters against the side of the rock, bounces one, and it's coming sort of straight at you. And he's ragdolling on top of you. What would you like to do?
I've used my action to help him. Right?
Yeah, quick question. With fatigue, though, he doesn't fall unconscious, right?
No, he's just drained. He's just
okay. You can still perform a maneuver though, even if you're down on fatigue.
Yeah, but no, because now if he gets to 0, we have to check if he's broken.
Oh, I thought he was automatically broken.
Well, hold on.
That doesn't sound good.
None of it sounds good. So let's. I'm gonna. You want to check it out for me, Miko?
Yeah, I've got it right here. So with broken agility, you're physically exhausted, and you cannot perform skills or actions. However, you can still perform a maneuver. But because it's agility, there is no critical damage, and you are not knocked out.
Okay.
But you just can't take actions, basically. You can still do your maneuver, though.
It's not so bad, Paige.
Is there something you want to do as a maneuver as you're falling? Because you hadn't done. I'm sorry, Rocky. We'll get to you. You hadn't done a maneuver. You had just taken an action. So is there a maneuver you want to do as you're falling? Kind of completely drained.
Okay. I guess not much I could think of as a maneuver besides just like when I'm falling down, I'm like trying to stabilize myself. Maybe even like as Rocky's trying to stop me from like going completely all the way back, but like maybe I catch on to him and then try to catch the gun maybe since I let go of it.
Right. So you can do get item or pick up item as a maneuver. So as you're falling and the gun's falling, you reach out and grab it so it doesn't clatter against. You just grab it before it clatters against the rock and before it falls and knocks Rocky on the side of the head.
Okay, good. Okay, I was getting that image in my head.
So he snags that gun and he's coming down on top of you. What do you do, Rocky?
I've used my action to help, so I just got to maneuver now, right?
Yeah.
I would like to, the turtle's coming down on top of me. I'm gonna, try to break his fall and not hurt myself at the same time. Get him down to the ground as safely as possible, and as a maneuver, get item, pick up item. Can I have one heal potion that I made last night? Can I pour that down Paige's throat in a way? And does that affect it at all? Will that give him?
Will that help is fatigue? Because I know there's 4 different kinds of potions, right?
Yeah, there's there's 6 types, but 4 of them are for healing each of the individual attributes.
All right. So cool.
And I have
Go for it.
Go ahead. I have just a heal potion. I wrote down heal. I thought that was for. I don't know if that's. I don't know.
Like HP damage or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have a D4 handy?
Yep.
Can you roll it and tell me what you get?
Yep. 4.
All right, so it's not going to help you. So it's a potion for
Okay.
instinct. So
Okay,
I went by strength, agility, wits, instinct as it's on the sheet.
Okay.
All right, so you managed to catch him and sort of lower him down into the ground. And
But I can't use my heal skill because he's not broken anyway. No.
He is broken though, isn't he?
Broken?
Yeah, he is broken.
Yeah, agility broken.
Well, you're
Yep.
gonna
You
need
can use your
multiple
heal
actions.
skill as an action.
So
Action,
next
yeah, I
turn
got it.
you
Okay.
can use it as an action to help him get back up. All
That's
right,
me
cool.
then.
All right, so you use your maneuver to kind of bring him down into cover and take the gun away, and just sort of get him ready and pull out your pack to get your items. So you get your tools to you have your super duper
Med pack.
surgery kit, right? So that's your action to get that item. You pull it out, open it, and you're ready to start doing some open shell surgery.
Oh boy.
How long were you
Dave,
holding on to that one?
So Dave, this robot and you are slowly coming down, and you're about to hit the ice. Now, there's a chance you're not going to hit it hard enough to break through it, but for sure when he lands, he's going through. So what would you like to do? He looks pretty banged up also. Like, it looks like he's probably on the verge of, punching in.
I'm going to yep, I'm gonna take this opportunity to just express my gratitude for the ride, and I'm gonna punch him one more time in the back of the head. I'm gonna use my action, right, to punch.
Yeah.
Punch.
Go for it.
All right.
I'm going to roll my Amar.
This has got to work, right?
It's gotta.
We kind of need it to.
Yep. Okay, so I got 2 radiation symbols and 1 biohazard symbol, so that's good.
Yeah, so that's your 2 successes.
Yep. So
Better than a kick in the teeth.
yeah.
Yeah, which is good. I got 1 roll on my armor, so that takes 1 of your successes away.
Okay.
But you have 1 success left, and he had 1 life left. So how would you like to do this?
As I punch into that little compartment on the back, it pops open, boing, and little like springs and wires go ping, ting, 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 ting. Oh, they like pew, pew, hit me in the face. And I look inside. What do I see inside the back of this head?
It's just this weird sort of machinery, and you see something that looks kind of like you've seen, carcasses before and things like that. And there's this bit that looks kind of like a spine, but it's all made up of light and cables that are kind of tied together around this sort of rod. And you can see all these lights, information sort of moving in there up and down. And it's slowing down and it's slowly disappearing. And inside, right there, right next to it, when you look closely after you've punched it and the lights go out and it's falling, there's a little thing. And when you kind of squint, you see made in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. And with that, he's going to use his last feral point, if I can do this, as a maneuver. I know I'm like almost hitting the ice, but can I use my maneuver and my jumper power?
You absolutely can.
I'm going to jump back up, if I can do this, and land back on the bridge.
Absolutely. As you jump off of him, do a beautiful somersault and land right on the side of the bridge and give your flourish. And
I land and I go, Bangladesh, baby! Bangladesh!
And as you say that, the bridge collapses beneath you. As all the explosive have weakened it enough, you manage to, it's on the side, and the side is in mind, so you manage to kind of scramble off as the rocks start falling off of it and into the water below. You manage to kind of scramble off after having done your little flourish. Pacino, as this is happening and falling, you feel it going beneath you. You grab a hold of that cable and, you start pulling yourself out, and she's pulling on the other end also, using, wrapping it around the rock and pulling it. When the floor gives way beneath you, you kind of swing and hit the side of the wall, but you don't go in and you don't get crushed by all the falling rocks that are there. You get like a nice little chunk of rock that hits you around the forehead, and you can tell you're gonna have another scar right there, right where you didn't have one. That last pristine little bit of fur that you were saving for for later. Now it's sort of been ripped. And she can't pull you, you're way too heavy, but she's kind of holding the rope locked against the thing as you kind of hand over hand pull yourself up along on this thing. Back on the other side, Rocky, you got this turtle in front of you looking like this turtle has given it everything it had, and there's nothing, no more juice in the tank. What are you gonna do to help him out?
I've spent too much of I've lived too long and doing new things that require completion. So I've got to get this turtle back to. I'm not gonna let him die on me. So I'm gonna, as my action, this is where I would use my heal skill, correct?
Yes.
I got heal skill, and I got my instinct, and I've got my field med pack. So I think all up, I have 8 dice. 4 for instinct, 2 for heal, 2 more for the gear, and then 2 for the field med pack itself. Is that, I'm pulling up 9 fingers, but I think it's 8 dice.
You added your talent, right? Surgeon plus 2 heal for roll.
Yeah.
Right. That gives you 8 dice total there.
Do you also have an advantage? I don't think you've rolled an advantage.
Oh, I know. I have not rolled it yet. Yeah. Gear dice.
All right. So you have 2 more dice. So you should have your your heal, your instinct. So that's 6, 7, 8 for your surgeon, 9, 10 for the advantage, and then plus 2 for the thing. So you're rolling 12 dice, bud.
Yeah. What kind of dice are the advantage dice?
Green.
The advantage dice are green, and your gear dice are black.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. I got out of all that, I have 3 successes and nothing else bad.
That's
all right.
Perfect.
No biohazards or anything.
Doing 3 agility points as he tell us how you do this.
The turtles he's on his shell, on the back of his shell, and they can't get up on their own. Yeah, so he's on his feet, and his arms are waving around. So at first, I've got to take him and kind of calm him down, and so I rub his soft underbelly. His legs are slowly starting to, come down. I see he's got torn ligaments, especially in his upper arms where he was holding that gun. So I'm taking out my med pack and pulling out the fragments of things that are in those open wounds in his arms, and kind of putting in that salt stuff that sterilizes the wounds. But he's so out of it, he doesn't feel the intense pain that comes with that. Got the gauzy med bandages up, so now he's got kind of like big bandages around each of his forelimbs, his top forelimbs. And at the end of it, I stroke his belly again a bit more, and then just pat him on the cheek, and get him, knock his back of his shell. And Paige, you're back. You're back.
Rocky. Did I get him?
You got him, bro. You got him.
Oh good.
You
what
did
happened?
good.
I almost went out.
No. You were always there. You're always there, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, what the hell is that pain?
You're gonna be it's gonna sting a bit for a little while, but don't worry about that.
Okay. You did good.
And Lloyd, as you're watching
you.
this, you see this guy's got like a whole field hospital going on. He's got this little pack that he's opened, and he's got like a drip line, and he's got like tools, and he's got like electrodes. He's got the whole 9 yards. He's just working on this, and this turtle's on its back, and you're getting another acid flashback. Like you're just like all of a sudden this is sort of flicking in and out, and you see a huge eyeball, and in the eyeball there's a big sort of gout of flame, and then you see the face of another person, and you hear a voice that says, "You're traveling to the desert, Leon. You see a tortoise. It's on its back." What's a tortoise? You know what a turtle is? Same thing. What do you do? What do you do, Lloyd? The tortoise is on its back. What do you do, Lloyd?
I'm gonna run up to him. Paige, buddy, is he gonna make it? Rocky, tell me he's gonna make it.
Lloyd, is
He's
that
gonna make
you?
it. He's Lloyd. Lloyd is good. Lloyd is good. Just give him some space. Be calm around him. He's as we know, he's a sensitive individual, but
Calm.
you done good. You did a good job. You did a good job, Paige.
Yeah.
You
Calm,
I'm
saved
glad
it.
you're
calm.
doing okay,
Yeah, I'm
Lloyd.
good at calm. I'm real
I was
good
so
at
worried
calm.
about-
And on the other end of the bridge, Sautskaya just sort of reaches down, gives you a hand, and does not help you at all. Really,
No.
as you manage to climb out of there, she says,
Yeah.
"Does it always go this well with you guys?"
As she is like trying to help me up, I have like jammed the spike end of the hammer into the side of the cliff, and using that to like finish pushing myself all the way up so that I don't pull her into the river, and just climb up and shake, wipe a little bit of the blood off of my face, and just say, "No, most of the time it goes worse." And just hammer up on the side as I look back and see Lloyd losing his shit, but then I see Paige just like holding up an arm and like patting Lloyd, and I'm like, yeah, it could have gone worse. And I look down at the moose and say, sorry if I bumped you.
He's like, "It's fine. It's fine. Truffaut. He went into the cave that speaks. He went in." And on that note, we will pause till next week
Oh,
when we find out exactly what's going on with the cave that speaks.
Whew.
We get
Because of course he went into the fucking cave.
I thought we were going. I thought we were going for another hour, Frank. I'm sorry. I'm like, what? We're stopping?
I know.
Yeah, it creeps up on you, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're weak, man. We only go to 11.
Okay.
We're like what's their name? Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap.
We only go till 11. Oh my god. Yeah, what is it, Ethan? It's like noon for you or something? Midday?
3 o'clock in the afternoon.
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock in the
Yeah.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
It's like
Well,
11 o'clock
join us
in
next
here.
week.
Boy,
Find out
contest.
exactly what the
Ooh,
business
nice.
is with this. This
Wow.
talking cave, and what the hell happened to Truffaut, and whether or not Lloyd knows what a tortoise is.
And what the hell does made in Bangladesh mean? That's the big mystery here.
I was gonna say made in China, but then I thought, maybe like, bad things would happen. So I thought of my
It's
underwear.
true.
My underwear is made in Bangladesh. I'm like, let's go.
Wow, you got fancy underwear.
That's right. Robotic parts.
We'll talk about that
Oh,
next time,
dude.
folks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you very much,
guys.
everyone, for seeing
Yeah.
us. I guess we'll go around, give everyone a chance to introduce themselves again, say where you can be found. And we'll go with our new friend, Ethan, who joins us tonight for the first time, and just in time to get really high on acid and sort of
And perform open shell surgery. Well, thanks thanks to Christian, Bleak Season, and thanks to all of you and DM Dave at Guild Superior. I'm Ethan. You can find me on Twitch at Armin and Twitter at ArminDM, and I do Dungeons and Dragons live play streaming on NZ Sundays. That's New Zealand. And miniature painting on New Zealand Wednesdays. So yeah, had a great time and just really appreciate all of you good people. Thanks.
cool. Great addition. Super happy to have you. It was a lot of fun, and look forward to seeing more of Rocky. Miko, please tell us about you.
Yes, Miko. You can find me on Twitter at _okayest_GM. I think links are going to end up in chat somewhere if they haven't yet, for the various places that you can find my homebrew content. And Ethan, welcome to the craziness. Glad
Thanks.
to have you.
And Travis, who is no longer on his back.
All right. You can find me on Twitter as Skane Eversalt. Or you can find me on my YouTube channel, Eversalt, or I doing comedy, mix of comedy and gaming with video games, but I am putting out the series that I edited of my co-stream with Dave. It should be released by noon. Well, 13 hours from now. There you go.
And
Wow.
the answer that I've received about 200 emails about this, the Band-Aid on your nose, is that part of the cosplay or?
That is part of the cosplay, yeah.
I was wondering
You
too
probably
myself.
noticed I've had a Band-Aid on my nose every stream
Yeah.
so far for this.
You're gonna have to start wearing a piece of duct tape on your back and then bandages
Ah.
around your arms and your legs. He takes the brunt of the damage every session.
The
Oh my
brunt of
goodness. Yeah. Got the scars for it.
Oh my God.
Following in your footsteps.
That's
Thank you so
funny.
much. It was a good game, Travis. Thank you for that great moment with Miko there at the end of the first section. It was beautiful. My name's Christian, Bleak Season, add the Bleak Season on Twitter. GMing this thing, very happy, very honored to be here doing this stuff. Having a great time with it, and throwing it over to Captain Dave for his spiel and the final word.
You guys are freaking awesome. I had so much fun tonight. Ethan, thanks for jumping in. Appreciate you coming in and helping us finish out this session. Miko, it's been awesome playing with you and getting to know you. Travis, you know I love you, buddy, and love playing games with you as much as possible. And Christian, wow. Thank you so much for taking us into this strange world and doing what you do. I love the storytelling. My name's Dave. I play games, produce games, and run games here on Guild Superior. This Wednesday, join us for Beyond Saltmarsh. It's our ongoing escapades in the wonderful world of Greyhawk. We're getting close to some serious shit in the Amadia jungle that I think you guys will be interested in checking out. We're going to put the party through the ringer this Wednesday. So please come and check it out. Thanks to everybody in the chat for getting involved and hanging out. And we love our chat buddies. So thank you so much. Please check us out again. We are going to go ahead and do a quick raid. It looks like I'm just checking to see who's going. We're going to jump over to Sensei Suplex, which looks like they're running some homebrew stuff that's absolutely fascinating. So we're going to jump over there, hit them with the emotes. If you've got a sub or you're following us, you've got access to some cool emotes. Hit them with the raid emote. Check us out next time. Thank you all for being here. Love you all. We'll see you next time. Take it easy.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Buonanotte.